matured so much from that time. And like, I look back at myself when I was 17 to where I am now. And even when I was on Honda, I was pretty much a spoiled brat. Like I was kind of like, the grass is always greener. I almost like, it's just not, it's not that way. Every bike has its strength and no bike is perfect. So you just have to be able to ride around it.
JB and AC, the energy was awesome. Those two are just like really finding their groove.
4 straight overall wins.
$100,000. Adam Cianciarulla.
Checkered flag and Justin Brady. Has won 2019 World Motocross Championship.
He's gonna do it to become the oldest winner in the history of Supercross.
Folks, welcome back to the AC and JB show. Justin, I'm just going to hit you with it right off the bat, man. I love the backwards hat. It reminds me of, what, 2006, 2007, JB?
That's right. That's right. Well, we're having Chase Sexton on the show today, and he looks good with the backwards hat. So you know what? I'm going to try it out, and I appreciate the compliment. Right off the top, your shirt says, what's it say? Widen your perspective? Sorry. You're pretty wide today. You're feeling good.
Well, we did we went shopping this past week, which hasn't happened in a long time. I'm one of those guys, you've been around these moto dudes before, that all we wear is whatever sponsors send us.
Look at my Fly Racing shirt.
Yep. I see you repping. And so my girlfriend and I were like, we had a kind of a free day last week. I'm like, let's go to Fashion Island. Let's go over to Irvine, Orange County, other side of the mountain. Dropped probably $400 or $500. So I feel broke, but I do have like 4 or 5 new shirts that I've been wearing. I thought this one was appropriate for the show. But yeah, we dipped into the budget a bit. That the sponsor swag and merch is basically come to a grinding halt post-retirement. So I've resorted to either going to the mall or mostly just Amazon. I just Amazon my stuff. You know this because it took me 8 weeks, 10 weeks to find a pair of black pants during Supercross that I felt comfortable with on Race Day Live.
The question is, did we drive the Raptor over? Because if we did, we spent more in gas than we did on T-shirts.
Yeah, that thing is a gas guzzler. I love it so far. Traded it in. Did we talk about this on the show?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, guys, I bought a new truck, and it's been a long time coming. It really has been a long time coming. I do not like to spend money, as most of us riders are pretty cheap that way. I've been talking about getting a new truck. I had an old F-150, had a Model 3 Tesla, and I said, you know what? My guy Jared at J-Star hooked it up. I brought him both my cars. I said, hey, just take these and give me the cheapest Raptor you have on the lot. And yeah, I love it so far. But yeah, we're like 12.5 miles to the gallon. So I've had to fill that thing up about 3-4 times, and makes me feel like I got to start working again.
I will say I was really impressed. So Las Vegas, SMX, you and I didn't know each other that well. We're on a 3-week kind of getting to know each other, getting to be friends. We're sharing rental cars. You gave me a ride at Dallas, I believe. And then Vegas, I didn't have a rental car. And you drove there. So you're like, yeah, ride with me. And I'm thinking I'm going to go out. AC's going to be in a G-Wagon or something. He's made millions of dollars. He's an outdoor motocross champion. And we rock up. And it's like, what year is that? What year was your F-150? Yeah,
like 2015.
Yeah, 2015 F-150. And I'm like, my respect level went up a notch. I'm like, I like this. I like this.
You know what the driving force behind the new truck was? It's not I don't buy into the status symbol, things like that. I don't mind, but I needed some cooled seats. I really needed some cooled seats, dude.
It's a game changer, huh?
Seats. Yeah. It's like, you know me, and you knew this from Dallas because it was 105 degrees there and we were wearing suits outside. And I look over at you, you're not sweating at all. And I'm just drenched in sweat. And for everybody out there, when I was racing, I was a goggle guy's worst nightmare, an absolute worst nightmare, because if you could keep the sweat out of the inside of my goggles, you could do it for anybody.
Yeah.
And so that was the driving force behind the truck. It's like, I'm not trying to drive 25 minutes and get swamp ass, basically. So yeah, we ended up with a Raptor. We're stoked on it. We got one car in the driveway now, and I'm more of like a minimalist. JB, I know you wouldn't know anything about that. I've seen your house.
Come
Trust me,
on,
I've seen
dude.
all your little
Come
toys and all your
Come
stuff.
on.
But
3
I like
kids,
to.
man. You got to have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, sure. How's your week, dude? You were on vacation.
It was great. It was great. We went to the beach. We've this is our second annual. So we moved into this new neighborhood a couple years ago, and you'll understand this, AC, once you start a family. But when you have some kids, you end up hanging out with a lot of families that have the same age of kids as yours, whether you meet them through school or whatever. So our dream forever is to live in a neighborhood that we make friends with adults, obviously around our age, but have the same age of kids. And thankfully, the neighborhood we moved into, it's been amazing, man. We've gotten really close with a few, 3 or 4 families, but 2 families we became really close with, and we've been going on vacation with them. Went to the beach last year, and yeah, we'll have pool days. We hang out all the time. Our kids are really good friends, so we went to the beach with them. So there was 6 adults, 7 kids in one house. And all you out there watching and listening, you just cringe because you're like 7 kids in one house. It's going to be tough. It was tough, but it was a ton of fun. We went to Oak Island and then went over to Bald Head Island, just off the coast of North Carolina. So had a ton of fun. And you'll like this, AC. So Chappie, Steve Hudson, who used to be the chaplain of Supercross and Motocross for, I don't know, 25 years, 20 years?
Long time. Well respected. Great guy.
Yes. Amazing guy. He married Paige and I got to be really close with him when he lived in Charlotte, and I moved to Charlotte to race for Joe Gibbs Racing. He would come to the shop every Monday after the race. We would do a little Bible study. We'd have lunch with the whole team. Like, it was awesome. I got to be really close with Chappie, and he lives down there. So we went and played 9 holes, and AC, Chappie can play. He's a player.
I've heard. He's got a nice little swing.
He's got a great swing, straight as an arrow every time. We were playing with some wind. The course was pretty much right on the water. And yeah, we had a blast. We tied. We both shot 41. I had the funny thing was, there was one hole, it was a dog leg left. And he was like, if you just hit a perfect draw up there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Chappie, if you say draw to me, you lose me right there. I cannot draw the ball at all. I got a nice little fade. And the next hole, dude, I like duck hooked it left out of bounds. It was par 5. I'm like, well, that's about as good a draw as I can do. So, yeah, we had a blast as a family and get to see Chappie again. And how's my tan looking? AC, I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's good. And I think it's the white wall. I really do. But dude, or your just complexion is amazing. Like you do have just a radiant skin tone, bro. You look fantastic. But I don't know. I'm like not full ginger. I'm really not. I'm maybe like 5-10% ginger max. But for whatever reason, dude, I go out in the sun. Even if I put sunscreen on, I get red. Like I can get really red, say a weekend at the beach or something, and I'll be tan for about 15, 16 minutes. There's like it's either sunburn or it's white. And so I'm active. I'm outside, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's genetics or what, but yeah, you're definitely putting some space between us right now with your complexion.
So my week was good. How about yours? You play some golf?
Yeah. Right now me and golf are beefing, dude, bad. I'm trying to find, so I got to a place with my swing where I was like an 8 or 9 index. So I'm shooting, every once in a while I break 80, most of the time between 80 and 85. And the problem is I could go into all my shoulder issues and my lack of range of motion, but we're trying to work around that. And basically I got to a point where I'm like, okay, I've maxed out with this swing. Like I'm going to be an 8 or a 9 index forever. Mm-hmm. A lot of it just depended on kind of the timing of my hands, really. It just wasn't a repeatable swing. I was throwing the club head at the ball because it was coming in steep. It was not good. So, when you're trying to get better, when you're changing your swing, you're going to take a couple steps back. And I found a coach that I really like working with, but we've taken a few steps back. Absolutely. And it's been frustrating. And so it's almost like a mental exercise for me to just grind, stay in the moment, hashtag trust the process. So that's where we're at right now. But I do have a big match tomorrow with a very good dirt bike racer who is basically starting YouTube, kind of like a golf YouTube channel. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say anything yet, so I'll keep it on the DL, but this kid's pretty good. You may have heard of him. So I'm a little bit nervous for where the swing's at. Absolutely. But let's get into Washougal, dude. Let's get into Washougal. My favorite track of the year. We got on here. We got on our call off air, and you had some not so great things to say about Washougal. I don't know if you're just yanking my chain because that's my favorite track ever or what. But, dude, that place is beautiful.
Well, you're right. It is beautiful. It's very, very beautiful. Doesn't mean it's a great racetrack.
The only thing that I will say negative about Washougal, no, I'll say two things. One, the starting gate. It's okay now with grates, but do you remember how like silty and dry?
Yeah.
I've never started on dirt that was so slick. Maybe Vegas Supercross back in the day. But that place was so weird. Like I could be getting good starts everywhere all summer and then go there and it's like almost feel like you're an amateur again doing a concrete start. But with the grates, you have some more momentum going on to the dirt now, so the guys aren't spinning as much. And then number two, and most importantly, and this is where I don't think riders get enough credit, or maybe I'm just not tough, but Roost,
Yeah.
dude, sitting behind somebody at Washougal, like you just have to be a straight up man. Like you have to be a straight up man. I remember being at Washougal. I raced 2019 with Dilian Schwartz, and the second moto, I was right behind him the entire time. And I was so mad at Dilian, like as if he was doing it on purpose, right? I'm like, every time I get hit with this big boulder making big welts on my chest, I'm like, it's that guy's fault. He's doing that to me. I would like take it personal. You know, the Roost hurts that bad there, Justin.
Yeah, and it's really hard to escape it because the track's pretty narrow. And there's parts of the track where you literally cannot escape it. I mean, you just got to sit in front of the paintball gun and just get blasted. Up Horsepower Hill, you can move around a little bit, but even though you're like in fire, in the fire line when you cross, you know what I'm like? If you're like behind Dilian and he's going up like the middle, and you're on the right and you cross to the left, you're like, no, boom, 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 just getting pelted. But look, I'm not like the track it's a really fun track. If we were going there just to ride, I mean, that's maybe the track I would pick. Like, hey, you can go anywhere and just have a fully prepped, fun day with your friends. That's an amazing track. It's a really difficult track to race, especially like for me. With good starts, you'd have a great day. Had some awesome days at Washougal. I had other days where I was riding great. And I've looped out one time in my life. It was at Washougal. It was like a full RV loop out, you know, when he was in Europe. It was like similar to that. I landed, you know the turn that Jett fell in?
Oh yeah.
First moto. You're right. Then there's that triple.
Yep.
And then it used to not have that wall, like the single where you launch into the sand. It would just be a straightaway. I landed and just went to get on the back of the bike, and I hit a hole that I didn't see, because that's one of the things we'll probably touch on here a lot is just the shadows and you can't see the holes. And I just fully looped out. It was an embarrassing moment, but it happened.
Did you get on video?
I don't think so. Did they have videos in 2012? Were there people videoing?
That's crazy. TV package is definitely a lot better now.
It's way better now, yeah.
We had a race,
and I was in fifth at the time, so they're probably not too worried about who was in fifth. So
I remember I had a lot of great moments at Washougal. I don't know why. When I was a kid, I was a Florida kid, so I just assumed I was good in the sand and not so good on the hard pack. I remember I would come out to California to test, starting when I was 12 or 13. It would take me like a month to figure out how to ride the hard pack stuff. But later in my kind of, as I got into my pro career, I figured out that I liked the hard pack stuff. I actually ended up liking it better. So Washougal is like one of the only races that you go out there for practice and it's not 3 feet deep. You have to use it, you kind of have to be good with the throttle control. It's just a bit technical in that way. The one time Washougal, I think it was 2017. I think I forget. I had to stay in the position I was in. I think I was in 4th or something. And I think it was for the win or for second. Anyway, I think I went from, in the last moto, I think I got passed by Ferrandis, like 2 laps to go. And I went from getting 1st overall to 4th overall.
Oh,
And it was just the worst, dude. I pulled off to the podium thinking, okay, I lost the win, but I'm P2 or P3, and they're like, no podium. Oh, I was livid.
no
I
way.
was living. And what I did, I was struggling. I was still trying to kind of build my fitness up. And I took a couple caffeine pills for the second moto, which worked out fantastic. A lot of endurance athletes, you guys know the power of caffeine, right? You stay light with it during the week. And if you only use caffeine on race day, it's a superpower.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I'm a sweater, no doubt. So 2 laps to go, that far turn in the back, you do the big tabletop after where you looped out, you do that big left-hand turn. Remember, going up that tabletop, I went to stand up, and my calves and my hamstrings were just completely fried, locked up, dude. Couldn't stand up, like just straight up couldn't stand up. And I'm like, I had Ferrandis coming. I'm like, dude, 2 laps. But yeah, I let that one slip out of my hands. And then, that's a bad one to have a bad race at, because now we have 2 weeks off.
Yep.
We had 2 weeks off after that. It was a terrible drive home, but I did end up getting my first win, like Budds Creek, which was a couple weeks later. But that's pretty much the only bad time I had at Washougal. I love that place. I really did.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. Really, really fun track. I think it can vary year to year on whether you're gelling with the track or not. And if you're gelling with it and you're taking good lines and you're flowing, it can be the most fun day of your life. But if you're not, it can be so difficult. You're getting hammered with roost, you're getting passed. You just cannot get things rolling in the right direction. And I think you've seen a little bit of a both this weekend. I mean, obviously, the 250 class Shimoda was absolutely rolling, and they showed Marchbanks a lot. Dude, he was unbelievable on a track that's difficult to pass on. He made so many passes. So we'll get into 250s later on. But what about the 450 class?
I think one last thing on the track, JB, before we get into that, one of the things I've been hearing James say on the broadcast a lot is, like, it's hard to make up time. Like, it's hard to make up time on a track like that. And you mentioned it, Jett's mistake, kind of asking too much of the tires, got on the gas a little bit too hard, spun out in that right-hand corner. Rut couldn't hold him. But I think what James means by that on a track like Washougal, and you can attest to this, is there are tracks like Red Bud, Southwick, where it's pretty not easy, but intensity often translates to going faster on tracks like that. Tracks like Washougal, a lot of times intensity results in you actually going slower. So that's what the start's very important at Washougal for a lot of the reasons we've already been talking about, but specifically it is just really difficult to figure out how to up the pace on a track like that. You have to be so mindful, so thoughtful, because it's so easy for something like that to happen. Like, what happened to Jett, slide out like that. You have to be so precise on the gas. You can't have a lot of clutch, a lot of gas. You have to be very precise about the way you do it. So I think that's what we saw a lot of this weekend. Guys that didn't get the starts, there are guys like Marchbanks that figured it out, but there were a lot of guys that we saw on the ground. And that's a big reason why, Justin, is we've talked about it. A bunch of people have talked about it. It's a talking point at Washougal every year, but that place is slick, man. It's slick.
Yeah, it'll jump up and bite you. And I want to touch on one more thing. How about, you mentioned that having this break. I remember thinking halfway through the second moto, if I was having a good moto or not, and you had either a weekend off or 2 weeks off. I think we touched on this in Supercross a little bit. But how about the magnitude of having a great day before the break?
Oh, there's
nothing like that, man. Your dinner tastes better. Your last several laps of that race is so much better. And you're just like, it's like you get to chill on vacation and be like, yep, I had a good one. But the opposite of that, I mean, I had some bad ones before breaks where I'm just like, I'm going to have to soak in my own misery for 2 weeks. It's crazy the thoughts we have.
How quick was it for you? Like after you crossed the finish line, before a weekend off, how quick? Like if you had a good day, how quick were you? Like, oh yes, like a weekend off. I
The
get to
last
go
couple
into
laps, I was already thinking that.
Oh yeah, every
Like before
time.
the checkered flag was out, I'm
Every
like,
time.
yes.
It would pop up in my head, and I'd have to be like, dude, okay, just lock in. I
Focus back in.
I need 5 more minutes out of you, brain. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna ask, and then straight to Dairy Queen after or something crazy.
Yes. And you're already thinking about what you're going to do, or like if you're going to, for you, take your girlfriend to dinner on next Tuesday. It's just going to be so much more fun because you had a good race. What I'm saying is the racing, for everyone watching and listening, trickles down into life so much. Like 100% of your happiness on Tuesday or Wednesday the following week determined your Saturday result. And that's a tough life to live for as long as we did, Adam.
That's the hardest part about the whole thing. Is just being. It's why I talk about it so much on the on the podcast too. Is if you can manage your emotions, like the guys that manage their emotions the best are the guys that are able to be contenders or be kind of at their peak year in and year out. You see a lot of guys that are really elite, but they go through these kind of peaks and valleys, and everybody does to an extent. But when you have guys like Tomac, the perfect example, our top 3 this weekend, Tomac, Chase, Jett, like sure they go through little slumps, but for the most part, they're there week in and week out. And so much of that is controlling your emotions. It really is. Because if you have a bad race, it's so easy to let yourself, it's so easy just to be hard on yourself for a long time. Or and I know you have done this. Like you have a bad race on the weekend and then you wake up Sunday morning, you're pissed off. So what do? You fly home and then hop on the road bike for 2 hours and then wake up Monday, go do 230s, right? Like emotions can get you that way too. And then 3 weeks time, you can barely stand up because you're so tired because you were acting on emotion of the, the bad race. And I've seen the same thing happen to guys when they do well too. They get more motivated, they start doing more, and then you go backwards. So that's why we always talk about the guys that are behind the scenes. Like we had a feature on, we talked about it a lot this Supercross season, but the guy like Larry Brooks for Ken Roxon, for example, like just somebody that's been there, done that, and that was Nick Way for me, that can be like, hey dude, you're fine. Like we're going to stick to this. Like you just need somebody there letting you know where center is at all times. That being said, Justin, let's get into 450s. Chase Sexton, he's back. He's back. We do not. It's crazy, and James was talking about it on the broadcast, but it really is amazing that when Jett is not winning the race, like in that first moto, you're just like, what's going on, dude? Like what's going on? Because he's been that good. But I really did think in that first moto, Chase put in about 5 laps there with Jett behind him, where I saw like Jett didn't really have an answer for it. Like in that moment, like how fast Chase was going, you could tell Jett was pushing. And I think he kind of led him into that mistake a little bit, Justin. Like Chase was 25% better than he was last weekend.
Yeah, to me, just the body language on the bike for Chase was way different. It looked to me like he had all the belief that he was going there to win and was going to do everything in his power to win. Where in weeks past, it's like, it just seems like a third is okay or a second is okay. And Jett's, out front. So I liked it. I mean, he looked racy. He looked like he was really comfortable with his bike. The bike looked great. We'll talk to him here on the show in a little bit, but yeah, man, the passes he made early as well, like even second moto, he goes by Jett in the whoops and Jett gets him right back. But yeah, he was feisty, man. I don't know what he did during the week, but it seemed like he was there to prove a point to make a statement that, hey guys, I'm still the Chase Sexton of old, and I can still be the best guy in the world.
And I think one of the things that we've talked about a lot with Chase is him managing his emotions. We've talked about how much of an extreme competitor he is. I mean, he's one of the most, everybody that's on the gate, of course, is a competitor. But what I mean by that is he's just fiery, man. He wants it.
Mm-hmm.
He wants it bad. And what you and I were talking about kind of off air last week was it was a great sign, I thought, like at Millville, for Chase to, even the interview before the race, like he was chill. He said, I'm not where Hunter and Jett are right now. And in that second moto, he got beat by 45 seconds. And that takes, in order to kind of let that happen. And of course, not that he, wasn't trying or whatever, but to be okay with that for somebody with Chase's personality that wants to win in every single thing that he does, that's experience. That takes time to get to a spot where it's okay, we're going to get our ass beat today, and next weekend it could be a different story, or the weekend after that. And so I've talked about it this year, but I think Chase's emotional maturity has come a long way. And I think the fact that he was okay with getting beat at Millville led directly in to the performance that he had this week, because you can't go out there and beat Jett Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Justin Cooper, Eli Tomac. You can't go out there and do that if you don't believe in yourself. So I think it's more of a sign, kind of reminds me of like somebody like a Chad Reed back in the day, where he could go get beat by 45 seconds from, James Carmichael or whatever. And they talked to him after the race, and he's like, dude, I'm right there. I'm right there. And then he'd come out the next week and win. Like, to me, that says more about where Chase is at, the fact that he can go get beat like that and then show up the next weekend and still feel like he's the guy. He's going to win the race. I think that's huge for Chase.
Yeah, I love what you said with the maturity. I think it's huge. Even this weekend when Jett beat him second moto, or last weekend, sorry, at Washougal, like he was fine with it. It was good with it. He learned from, I think Arlington Supercross taught Chase Sexton so much. Remember, he's going for a coupe.
Oh yeah.
And you and I were there in our suits thinking, all right, we got to interview Chase after this race for the post show. And then he crashed, and we looked at each other like, oh my gosh, like, did that really just happen? And even though it was a crazy moment for really the sport, like it was a wild moment, Chase got the worst end of it. But I think that one moment probably taught him more than maybe any other thing throughout his career. And I think going back to this race, I mean, first moto he wins. Now he knows the points. Tomac gets second. Jett gets third. He knows he can go 1-2 on the day. It looked like he wanted to go after him a little bit that second moto, but then was just kind of like, nah, I'm good. I'm good with this overall. So that spoke volumes to me, not only for this season, but moving forward to try and be Supercross champion again, to try and win these SMX playoffs here in a couple months. So, yeah, I loved everything I've seen. And then remember we were talking about Millville when he got beat by 40-some seconds. You and I are both saying, like, hey, don't look at that number too much. Like, don't think about, oh, my gosh, Jett and Hunter are 40-some seconds better than Chase. And we're both like, nah, the number doesn't really tell the whole story. I think Chase believed that, and we all seen it, just the numbers don't lie. Jett and Hunter were better. And Chase was just riding around at that point, able to still get third and have a gap to fourth. So once you lose that toe, or you don't feel like you have the speed to battle those guys, then you just kind of do your own thing. You don't give up. That's not the right word for it, but you also don't go all in, take a bunch of risks, crash. So exactly your point, AC, that 40-some seconds now builds into this win, and you have to be mature, but you have to be so confident in yourself. And Chase is obviously very confident, and it was fun to watch. What do you think about his bike? I thought it looked really, really good.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot better than it was at Millville. Shout out our guy, Lewis Phillips, who has been crushing the interviews. These interviews, our producer Cole Beach sends it to us in our little ACJB group chat, and we always end up watching Lewis Phillips interviews. It seems like great content there. But Chase, one of the things Chase said was that he's just been struggling with the balance of the bike. like the front end low, front end high. And, you know, as analysts, you and I, every week we have to kind of take what the guys give us and do our best to figure out what's going on. And really, so much of it for these guys, for guys like Tomac and Jett, Chase, guys that are looking for not to be 2% better, 3% better. It's like 0.5%, 1/4%. The margins are so small with how good these guys are. Sometimes it just does come down to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could have been, maybe it would be a different story last week at Millville if Chase felt like his front end was super, super low coming down the hills and he was scared of it. So he backed it down. It seemed like he found a little bit of a better spot this week. But I think, you know, in what I said about another guy who rode fantastic this weekend, Eli Tomac, also amazing gear combination too. I thought the shadows, like the color of the dirt, Alpine Star crushed that. But I kind of owe Eli Tomac a bit of an apology because I watched interviews with him after Millville, after we did our show, and it was that Lewis interviewed him press day at Washougal, and he was actually like, normally Eli just plays it close to the chest, and we know he's had kind of those weird rides every once in a while where he just go out there and get 7th and everybody's wondering what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love how transparent Eli was, but he's basically like, you know, I took a big swing. We took a big swing at the bike, making a change before Millville. It didn't work out. And so Eli, being the veteran he is, he goes out there, takes his medicine, gets through the day, took another big swing this week, and way closer to the front. JB, he's right back. So I feel like I owe Eli an apology because to me, there still might be some merit to the fact that once he gets back there, whether it's because of the bike or whatever, once he gets back there, he's kind of, maybe he's a little bit over it as you know, as well. But maybe that has to do more with the motorcycle than where he's at mentally on, you know, not winning the race, not being a guy that's up towards the front. So I just feel like I needed to say that. I need to get it off my chest. Eli, I get it. It was the motorcycle. I'm stupid.
No, I mean, yeah, it's hard to know though, right? It's hard for us to know that the setup was way off when we were watching him ride like that, because I feel like Eli can ride through that type of setup, or we haven't seen that setup issues, I guess, so much on the Yamaha really since day one he was on this Yamaha. They nailed the setup, and so we just haven't seen it that much. We did see it a little bit on Kawasaki. He'd have those weirdo rides like you said, and you know, he's really finicky, be at the rear end. We've talked about it 100 different times about how he's really heavy on the clutch, heavy on the throttle, so you need the rear end a little bit higher so it doesn't sink. And I believe that's what Chase is talking about as well. Just when it's teeter-tottering like that, you get on the gas, exiting a turn, it sinks too much. You get on the brakes going into the turn, the front end gets a little too low. So the back and forth is just a little bit too much. And I think Eli's pretty sensitive to that. So, yeah, it's hard to say. I do think more than ever, setup is starting to matter more in our sport maybe than it ever has. And I don't know if that's just if the bikes are a little more finicky, or if the level's just so high. If you're 0.5% off now, you know, you're either a podium or you're 6th. I don't know. What's your opinion on that, Adam? Because I do feel like more than ever, you can't just ride anything on any different track. The guys are changing it a lot depending on track conditions.
You can only ride around it so much. And that's what, you know, when I was growing up, that's what Ricky Carmichael was one of the things he was so famous for, was being able to ride around the motorcycle. And I do think that is a superpower in itself, because it's almost never, maybe 1 out of 25 races is the bike going to be just perfect.
Yeah.
And so you have to, when you go out there, like you have to be in tune with the motorcycle to know how to keep improving it. Because, you know, Justin, even if you find an amazing setup at round 1, if you don't continue to improve, like, you are going to get caught and you're going to get passed. That's just how it works at the top level. So you still have to be in tune with the motorcycle. But when it's not, it's a double-edged sword, because if you're so in tune with it, you know all the areas that it's not working. And then those areas, that's all you're thinking about when you're on the bike is like, oh, the bike doesn't do this, this, and this. And then you get stuck kind of just rolling around instead of figuring out how to ride around it. So it's such a, mentally, it's a tough place to be in, like to be able to be in tune with the bike, but also just focus on doing everything you can yourself to overcome the areas of the bike where, you know, it's kind of weak. But I do agree with you in that it's more important than ever. And I think for somebody like Eli 4 years ago, he could win with his B game, his B plus game. And he can't do that anymore. Like you just have to bring it. You have to be on your A game, your A plus game. And that's why one of the reasons why Jett has been so impressive, because it seems like he almost always figures out a way to, because his bike's not perfect either. He almost always figures out a way to get it done regardless, which is hard. I mean, these are the best guys in the world, and everybody is going to have the days where they just show up to the track and the track suits them, the conditions suit them, the bike's good. And so anybody that's able to go to all these different venues, all these different conditions and do it consistently, guys like Chase, Eli, Jett, so much of it is that, like having to ride around the bike, you know, having to stay in tune with the bike over the course of the season to continue to improve it. It's a lot there, JB. I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but it's a really tough thing, I think, like mindset wise, in staying attuned with your motorcycle or just focusing on yourself. It's hard to do both.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to do both. The one thing that I'll say for me, just from experience, I always like to know that I would want to know my motorcycle, even if let's just say the shock would kick me on a very square edge bump coming into a turn. Now we can work on that and try and get that better, but I would also like, if I liked it around the rest of the track, then there's a power in knowing where it's bad as well, knowing the weakness of the motorcycle and somewhat riding around that rather than throwing stuff at it all the time, trying to get better. What if you just went 2 inches left of that bump? Or what if you went, you know, outside to in and missed that? If it's all, because sometimes, and I don't know if you're guilty of this, sometimes one corner or one section on the track is a detriment to the whole track. And I would get in my head sometimes like, and then I'd leave the race thinking, dude, why didn't you just take that other line because I'd watch video, right? Well, hey, RV was going left of that bump and then cutting back to the right. I'm like, dang, if I would have found that one line in that one section, I would have had a totally different day. So sometimes it can be that as well, of just knowing the weakness of the motorcycle and trying to ride around it. So I do think nowadays guys are trying to get so specific on each track. Hey, we're going to Millville. Let's try to have a Millville setup. Hey, we're going to Southwick. Obviously, you would change the bike a little bit for Southwick, but that used to be the only one. Where now we're trying to get almost like NASCAR F1, like we're getting specific settings. And I don't think I would be good with that because I couldn't change the bike like Eli did, throw the kitchen sink at it and race it. I feel like I would need a couple weeks on it. And in my era of racing, I remember hearing stories about Chad Reed, specifically, I think it was 2011 Budds Creek, I believe. They changed the bike totally. I mean, like races, forks, shock, like totally new setting, and he wins the race.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like I couldn't do that. I would have to learn it. Okay, now it's going to kick there. Oh, yep, it kicked me a little front end low there, so I'd have to adapt. It would take me days to adapt. So I think every rider is unique, but we are getting more and more to where, and there's more data now than ever. So maybe that's helping or hurting, honestly, like maybe it's hurting a little bit, but just interesting to talk about. I think it's a great debate on what's right, what's wrong. Is there a right? Is there a wrong? Everybody's a little bit different. Some guys are searching all year. Some guys find a setting. I remember Zach Osborne had like the same setting for, I want to say, a couple of years, just because he knew it. He knew exactly what it was going to do. And I think there's some power in that.
And you're the setup guy, JB, but more than me. I think that I was a good tester. And I think a lot of the times I didn't get lost down a wormhole with my bike. You know, I found a setting that I liked and I rode around it in the places I didn't like it. But I think you're a little bit more, I think, technical with me. I always liked it kind of as little information as possible
Yeah.
for me. And so the question that I have for you, and I think a lot of fans, when they hear riders complain about the bike, they're thinking, well, look at all the resources they have. You know, these are fans that are dreaming of one day putting a kit suspension on their motorcycle. And they're like, well, how bad can it be? I mean, it's a $300,000 motorcycle. Like, what, I guess that would be my question to you, like, for those people. It is really possible to have all those resources, to have the best stuff, and it not be where it needs to be to compete at the front of the race.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're all searching for a certain feeling, whether it's a feeling that we had on a really good practice day or a really good race. And that could be something as small as the ride height of the rear end. It could be something as small as entering a set of whoops and you don't really get a big kick off the second whoop. It absorbs it all nice. It could be something as the feel in your hands going into a turn. Like there's a certain feeling that we're all looking for. Sometimes it just doesn't exist. That feeling doesn't exist at certain tracks and we think it does. And then other times it does exist and you're trying to relay the message from the rider to the technicians on how to get there. So that's where I was always big on this. I think more riders need to take accountability for their motorcycle and the way they set it up, and then maybe figure out different terminology or get to know your crew chief or your suspension technician or your team manager a little bit better. Go to dinner and explain, hey, when I'm saying this, because we all have different terms for saying the fork is soft or saying the rear end's high. Like we all have different terms, right? So that's another thing, is just the communication. That's why I've been big on, and you have as well, that I think it takes 8 to 12 months to learn a new team and a new motorcycle just because of the communication and the terminology you're using. So, and Adam, I'll just say it. There's a certain fork, 2014, my last year on JGR, and a shock 2018 when I rode for MCR. I got good parts from Honda that year, but that 2014 fork, the feeling I had with that, I searched to get that forever. I'm still searching for it at Club MX on a Wednesday afternoon, and I'm retired. And that shock, the shock on that Honda 450, the year that I won Daytona, I mean, I feel like I could do no wrong. I could hit any set of whoops. So that's just for instance, that's a feeling that I always search for. I had a great feeling with that fork, had a great feeling with that shock, tried to search for that all those years. Do you have a certain year or certain setting where you just like, man, I'm searching for that? That's the feeling. A1 that year.
There was something special. And so I always try to articulate this and I fail. I don't know exactly how to even say this, but there's a period of time when you move up from a 250 to a 450, where when you get on the 450, to me, you have so much, I had so much respect for the power and the weight of the bike. It's kind of an intimidating jump to make. Of course, you're racing the best in the world. It's a lot different. You have to, people talk about it. You got to ride the bike differently. And you really do. You know, 19 was my last year on 250s, and I was a bigger dude. It's like 175 pounds. And so I was just all over that bike, trying to get everything I could out of it. I got on the 450, and to me, when I first got on the 450, because I had so much respect for it, the way that I rode the motorcycle was something, I don't know, man, just something clicked. Like something clicked. It brought out great traits in me. And we had, you remember the BFR?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
heard
remember
all
the
about
BFR?
it.
I'm not,
I heard
you know,
all about it.
as I said earlier, I'm not a real technical guy here. I can't tell you, y'all, the oil does this different. Like, I don't know. The BFR is a technology that came from road racing, basically. Just it's a different way to go about a shock. And I swear, there was times at the practice track that off season where like I felt like there's no way somebody's going around the track faster than me. There's no shot. And that bike, the problem that I had with the BFR was that it faded throughout the course of a race. And you probably have heard this. It started with Suzuki, made its way over to us, Showa, and yeah, it's the only thing. Just towards the end of the race, it would fade, become unpredictable. But for like the first 10 minutes, dude, I've never so planted to the ground. I mean, I would almost loop it in the whoop section sometimes because it was so planted. It would, and sometimes I've like legitimately had dreams about like the way that I felt on that motorcycle at specific times. So, dude, when you get the setting right, you just feel like Superman. You're like, I'm the best in the world. Like, I am the best in the world. Nobody's got me. Speaking of a magical setup, your 2024 Pro Motocross National Champion, Chase Sexton, whatever he did during the week, it worked. And we are about to have him on the show right now. So strap in and enjoy. Here we have Red Bull KTM's Chase Sexton. Chase, thanks for taking a second, joining us. Dude, it's gotta feel good. I was just talking about it with Justin. Like, you go to Millville and you know you're not there yet. And this is what I was talking about that was so impressive, is that you took your medicine, you got beat pretty bad in that second moto. And then during the week, go to work, get to a better spot with the motorcycle. You're still able to go to the gate and feel like you're the guy to beat. Like, you can't go out there and win the race if you don't feel like you're the best guy. So I think you showed a lot of emotional maturity at Millville to be able to come to Washougal and do what you did. Dude, that was impressive.
Yeah, I mean, coming into Washougal, I always feel like I ride well there. So, and for me, like Millville, take out the hills, I felt like I was riding somewhat okay. But when I tell you, you could have walked down these hills faster than I was going, it was really bad. So I kind of just took that and was like, like if the hills aren't there, maybe hopefully I'm better than 48 seconds from the lead. But I just kind of went in with that mentality. Like, I made some bike improvements. I had a really good day on Wednesday riding, probably my best day of outdoors so far. And just took that into the weekend. I changed the bike. Pretty much the whole rear end of the bike last week was different. So just trying to take big swings. I mean, right now I have so much, like, I guess I have so much freedom because I'm not fighting for a title. So I can kind of just like throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. But it seemed to work this weekend. I still have some stuff I need to work on with the bike and obviously myself. I still have a little bit of speed I need to get better. But I mean, third race back, I didn't really. I mean, obviously I go to the gate to win, but third race back, I mean, after Millville, I was still pretty far off. So I'm like, I'm just trying to get better every weekend, try and improve. And yeah, this weekend was a win, so that was nice. But yeah, it was a good weekend. I love Washougal, and I really focused on getting good starts there, which I probably need to do every weekend because for some reason I always get good starts at Washougal. I have no idea why. Probably because I put more emphasis on it, but got good starts, and that was, I mean, that's half the game right there.
Yeah, it was super impressive, Chase. Rocking the backwards hat for you today. Repping.
I got
How's
mine
it
on
look?
too.
Does it look all right?
Looks good. Looks natural.
Let's talk about the bike setup, though. You mentioned the hills, and AC and I've been talking bike setup a lot on this show, just how we're all searching for a certain feeling. What was it? Is it more the front end of the bike, a little bit low coming down the hills and felt good everywhere else, or what was it on the bike?
Well, Millville, I actually bottomed my fork so hard first moto that I rolled my handlebars back in like,
No way.
yeah. So like my forks were definitely too soft, but they say, I mean, they're supposed to be the same as last year, but I don't know. Ever since I've gotten outdoors from Supercross, I haven't felt as comfortable as I felt last year. But I also feel like that's a little bit like a name of the game. Like, I feel like some years I'm really good in Supercross and then I'm not as good outdoors. And then some years I'm terrible in Supercross and I'm good outdoors. So it's like, it's kind of hard to match those two up. And also, yeah, we've just been searching with the bike a lot. Paula, I mean, if I couldn't have been more off on setup than I was at Paula. Like, it was probably a blessing that I went down because it could have been way worse. I was so far off, and mentally, physically, I wasn't all there. So, yeah, I've been working on the rear of the bike. I'm I'm playing a little bit of a teeter-totter effect right now with just with the motorcycle. I feel like we got it better this week, but forks are still pretty soft. TK says it looks like I have enduro forks on my bike, which is not good, and a Supercross rear shock. So got to work on that a little bit. But yeah, it's been good. I went back to the linkage stuff that I was on from Supercross, and it seems to help with traction. So this weekend was pretty hard pack, and feel like I was driving pretty well. So I think we made progress there. But yeah, just working with the forks a little bit. They're still a little bit too soft.
I remember when we played. I think we played golf after. Was that Anaheim 1? We played Eagle Glen. Was that Anaheim 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you told me the one thing that stood out to me that you told me is you felt like you were riding a Harley. So we've been struggling to get the bike balance, which
Yeah.
dude, it's tough.
No, it's super difficult. I think like Wednesday I had such a great day practicing. Like, I got the bike finally like level. Started to be able to, like, when you have the bike level, when the suspension's moving together up in like rear shock and fork are moving together, it comes so much easier. Like jumping bumps and be able to pick your way around the track is so much more. Well, it's more enjoyable, but also it's easier to just pick your lines and be able to move. And I feel like if one of those is off, it's really difficult to kind of be free on the bike. And I feel like this year in outdoors, I feel like I look like a little bit of a gorilla on the bike. Like my shoulders are rounded and I'm kind of like over the front because I'm trying to force stuff to work. And I think this weekend we saw a little bit more. I was a little more freed up, a little more open up front, which you can tell. Like if I watch videos of myself when I'm uncomfortable, like you can tell like a big difference from when I'm comfortable when I'm uncomfortable. Like the shoulders are rounded. I look like I'm trying to just muscle that thing around, and that's not good because I'm already a big dude, and I don't need to look like more of a linebacker on the bike.
Oh, PT Cruiser. That's what I used to say, dude. You're always the best to go cycling with because I get behind you. It's like a semi truck.
I know. And now it's even worse. I mean, I was only 17, 18
I know.
at that time.
One thing I wanted to ask you was you mentioned not having title pressure. And I think that's one of the things that I was talking about on the show the last few weeks or before that, when you were out, you weren't racing, is you've done more races than anybody since you got on a 450. And a lot of those times after starting 2022 outdoors, it's like you've been in title contention every time. And so that is really difficult to explain to people. Like in general, 31 races is gnarly for everybody, but to be under pressure to win the championship and do those races, it's even gnarlier. So how does that feel right now? Like not having that.
It honestly feels like I'm like a rookie again. Like it feels like I'm kind of like coming back into like when I started racing in the 250 class. I feel like I'm kind of like trying to reinsert myself as like a guy that can win races and fight for titles, which I think is actually, it's kind of fun because I've been fortunate enough to race for championships pretty consistently. I mean, obviously I've only won 2, but from the last 3 years on, I've been pretty consistent. I would say Supercross last year, I wasn't really there, but other than that, I've been pretty close. So it's nice. I feel like a kid again. And I feel like all those titles that I was competing for, like I feel like I was racing somebody different for them every year. Like it was like Supercross is one guy, motocross is another, SMX. Obviously Jett has been very consistent as well, but he's missed a little time, obviously with injury. So it's just been nonstop battle. And this Supercross season, I think it took a lot out of me. Obviously, those last 5 rounds, I knew I had to win, and it was do or die on Saturday, basically. So that puts a lot of added pressure, and mentally, it's hard. But yeah, I was smoked coming into outdoors a little bit, but it was more I've been dealing with stuff prior to Supercross, and that stuff just accumulates when you have a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety during the week, like trying to be the best version of yourself for Saturday. And to do that 31 times a year is a lot. And then in the off season, you're training your butt off to get back for the next season and try and be better. So it's like a nonstop just evolution of trying to become a champion, obviously. So obviously I'm very grateful. I wouldn't change it for the world, but it's a grueling grind, and it's yeah, it is nice to be kind of refreshed right now and not really just have any pressure on the weekends.
Yeah, piggybacking off that a little bit, here, Chase. I think, for me, I look at the sport, and there's a lot of athletes in the sport now. Like you could be a great golfer, you could throw a football really
That's
well. Like
debatable.
pretty much any sport, I feel like you could do really well. And I believe you're maybe, if not the most fit guy in our sport, you're one or two. So behind the scenes, what is your actual program like? Like, are you just getting program? Are you still working with Peter?
Yeah, still working with Peter. I have a lot of I guess this year I probably have more outside help than I've had in years past, just with trying to tie everything together. I feel like in years past I've missed certain aspects of I mean, it takes a lot to become a champion. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this year I would say I'm more well-rounded as far as having a complete program. But yeah, still working with Peter. My dad is still pretty much, I mean, he is my practice mechanic at home, but he's basically my riding coach, as Adam knows. So it's good. I have a good group of people around me, and I think that's obviously what it takes to be good in this sport. But yeah, it's grueling. I think now in the season's obviously the easiest as far as training wise, because you're not really doing a whole bunch of off the bike training. You're riding only twice a week, so it's nice. But then I mean Saturday's all out, so it's just trying to recover during the week for that race.
Have you gotten to a point where you just fully trust yourself, I guess, and even if there's something on the program, you call whoever you're working with, like, nah, I'm good for today, or hey, I need to push a little bit harder. Have you gotten to that point yet?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, I do a lot of my own riding schedule. Like Peter and I kind of collab on it and kind of go back and forth. But for me, I'm kind of like the guy that decides on what I'm going to do for riding. So I just kind of take I think one thing that is nice with having that freedom is for me, Millville, I feel like I struggle with bike setup more than anything. And I think having that freedom, on Tuesday last week, all I did was test. I didn't do any motos, no sprints, nothing. I just tested. And I think working with a purpose during the week, knowing when I have to get better on and not just going out there and doing 35-minute motos, just kind of floundering around. I think for me, that's one thing that I've learned getting older, obviously, but gaining more experience. I just kind of try and work on the stuff that I need to work on during the week and not do all that extra stuff. So try and be tactical a little bit, but also yeah, it's a kind of riding wise, I'm kind of just on my own program, and then training wise is Peter.
It's so easy to get stuck in that rut. Like there's so many times as a young guy, I look back and I'm like, dude, I should have been working on sections, like technique. And I was just going out there and doing 235s because I thought that's, what we were supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, we've had a lot of those days at Sandbox. I think, yeah, I mean, I used to ride 3 days a week. I mean, I think you as well. You always, the standard was, I mean, kind of back to when Alden was training all those top level guys, they were riding Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. It was like the Bible. There was no getting away from that.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays, people are kind of becoming more and more individualized. They're doing more of what they think they need to do. And I think that's good. I think that's what the Lawrences do really well. They know what they need to get better at and what they need to work on, and that's what they stick to. They don't go oh, Saturday I need to do they don't decide what they need to do on Saturday. They kind of go back, debrief, and work what they need to work on. And I think Eli's the same way. And I think it's kind of evolving into that a little bit.
And so one of the things about you, obviously you and I have trained a lot together, and especially when you were younger, and I know how competitive you are. I was just talking about it before you came on, but it was always you always wanted to be the fastest guy at the track. And if you weren't the fastest guy, dude, you were pissed. You're pissed off. And I respect that. I really do. But how has your mindset changed in that way since, turning pro 16, 17, and even you can speak on at the race too, because we saw you during Supercross. There's a lot of times we felt like there's no way you can go faster on a motorcycle. But is being fast during the week, being fast in qualifying, how has that changed for you?
I think back in the day when you and I were at Sandbox, for me, I was going to do anything I could do to go faster and be the fastest at the track, which didn't happen a lot. But I think I would do it didn't matter if I had to carry my bike across the track to go faster. That's what I was going to do. I didn't really worry about form. didn't really care how I got it done, just trying to go fast. If I had to cut the track, that's how I was going to do it. And now I think like the one thing I focus on during the week is the feeling I have when I'm riding. Like if I'm feeling comfortable and I feel like I can pick my way around the track and not have to like force things, that's more what I focus on now rather than just trying to go fast. Like, I mean, I say that it's not hard to go fast for one lap. It's hard to do it consecutively and be able to do it at the end of the moto. And to be able to do that, you have to ride efficient and you have to be able to be tactical when you're racing. So now, like I said, like last week I had a really good week, but it's just more how I feel on the bike. It's not so much about the speed, and the speed will come when you feel that comfortable and you feel like you can do what you need to do on the dirt bike. It's going to come. So for me right now, I'm just focused on just being kind of just flowing and being in that state where you can kind of move around and do what you want.
Yeah, I have a funny story. Chase, you may not even know this, but AC, Chase and I were at Honda Test Track. I believe it was 2023, I believe, or 2022. I can't forget, or I can't remember. But there was a day, Chase, you and I we kind of made our own track at the test track. We were doing sprints. Yeah. You and I were the only ones there. And Adam, the track was like pristine. You know, it was a test track. So like we're all kind of around the same speed. And I'll never forget thinking, okay, I need to be done racing because I cannot even go as fast as Chase in a single corner. And I could match, you know, whoever at the test track throughout the years. And Chase, you absolutely laid the wood. We were doing like 1 lap sprints or 2 lap sprints. You were beating me by like 2 seconds a lap. I'm just like, oh my gosh. I don't know if you remember that day, but it was so much fun. It's one of my favorite memories of us riding together, but also a memory I have of like, all right, dude, it's time. It's time to hang them up.
I do remember that. Yeah, I mean, I think like before, like when Adam and I rode, I was so like, what would kill me was I'd be close to Adam during the week, and then we go to the race, and I'd be getting 8th or 9th, and he'd be winning.
Yeah.
And that's like something that I was like, man, like, am I missing something? Like, I feel like during the week, I'm like, I'm pretty close. Like, we're kind of right there. And then I go to the race, and Adam's just destroying me. And that's something that I think goes along with what I just said about like feeling good on the bike rather than just forcing one lap and trying to be able to do it for 35 minutes is completely different. And also you have to have the belief on Saturday that you can go out there and win. And that's something that I've had to learn over the years. Like even in 22, when I was racing or riding in practice, I was starting to learn that. But like even nowadays, I mean, there's still days at the track where RJ and Aaron are, I mean, as fast or faster than me. But again, I'm more focused on how I'm feeling on the bike and stuff like that before, like, I mean, prime time 17. I mean, there was a lot of things that I would do to go faster than Adam. Like it was down to that point, and we would just keep going faster and faster. And
then we'd have to.
We're lucky that we didn't crash.
We'd have to call a truce at some point and be like, dude, we can't. I remember on the football style Supercross track at the Sandbox, being like in between 2 lap sprints, looking at each other and being like, dude, we need to like not go faster than this. This is ridiculous.
It's funny because like you would say that, but then it'd be the first lap of the sprint and I'd see Adam pull me. I'm like, nah, this ain't happening. Or Adam would pull the classic, like, oh, like I'm going to go out there and do like, I'm going to ride like 80%. Like I'm not really feeling like too good. And then he'd go out there and just hammer down. And Kenny would I got to Sandbox in 16. Dude, that's the year that Kenny, when I think went 20 for 24 in outdoors. Kenny would go out there and, I mean, when I say destroy us, and I mean, I was amateur still at that point, so I was obviously like kind of like fresh and like didn't really know what the normal was. And Kenny would go out there and just absolutely just hand it to us. And he'd come off the track, get in the shop, like, dude, I don't know what's wrong today. I don't feel good on the bike. Like I'm struggling. And I'm like, dude, you just went out there and destroyed us. And he goes out on the weekends and is killing everybody. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
It's funny because you were the guy that I felt like I was you before you. And then yes. you came in and you were so good. Like I knew, dude, I really did. I didn't let myself believe it for a long time, but like just the way that you rode the bike. I mean, I saw you all the way from 85s. Like I knew that you were going to be really good. And I knew it was only a matter of time that you were going to be better than me. But in my mind, you helped me be like, it's just practice, dude. Just let him be faster. Just let him be faster. Because I had no choice. I wasn't going to go that fast like every week. It was way too stressful for me. The one more question that I had was when you're out front this weekend at Washougal first moto, what is that pace for you? What is that effort level? Is that 100%? What is kind of your settled pace when you're racing, if you can quantify that? Is it like 80, 90? Because obviously you're not full gas. I feel like a lot of casual fans feel like you just go out there and go as fast as you can the whole time.
Yeah, no, it's not happening. I would say first moto. I mean, especially on a track like that, and especially with someone as good as Jett, like you're never, unless you're feeling unbelievable that day, like you're not going to walk away from somebody like that on a track like Washougal. Like there's not much time to be made up. So for me, I mean, I'm riding hard. I'm going what I feel like is going to be consistent. And I feel like I would probably say Jets are on the same, like 85, 90%. Like you're riding at a fast pace, but again, I'm trying to do it in an efficient way. So, I mean, I knew he was behind me. And honestly, I didn't really expect him to make a mistake. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be a long moto. Like I'm going to try and save as much energy as I can for the first 15, 20 minutes. And then when the 10-minute mark, it's kind of like, it's all or nothing. So, I don't know. Again, and sometimes you ride at 85%, you're going faster than you do at 100%.
Yeah, totally.
It's like once you get into that part of the moto, when you start to figure out where the bumps are, how to piece the track together, you're riding 80%, but you have so much roll speed and flow around the track, you're actually going faster than if you were going to do a 1-lap sprint. Like my qualifying pace has not been, let's just say it hasn't been great this summer so far. Better this weekend, but not great. And I feel like I put so much effort into that 1 lap, and let's say I'm 2.5 seconds off. I go to the moto and I'm actually running a faster pace in the races than I am during practice, which is it's kind of hard to like fathom that when you're after a qualifying lap. Like I'm all pumped, like legs are pumped up, and I just sent it for a lap, and I go out there in the moto and I'm riding at what I feel like is not all out, and I'm going faster. So it's like one of those things where what is 100%, honestly?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
It's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, super hard to say. Chase, you're a Supercross champion, you're motocross champion. The one thing left on the list, the playoffs, the SMX World Championship. How important is it this year to seal the deal on that championship?
Well, one goal is that let's just finish the last moto this year, because I haven't yet completed the SMX playoffs. But no, I mean, it is one thing, especially when I went out and outdoors, like that really put priority on these playoff races. And I knew I had to come back and get a good seed. Like I want to not be too far down the totem pole, like as far as like coming into that first race. Because again, I came in with the red plate the last 2 years, hasn't worked out great. So this year, I'm probably obviously not going to come in with the red plate, which kind of looking forward to. And I just really need to execute those last 2 races, but it's going to be all out, all or nothing for SMX. I mean, it's 3 races. It's kind of a sprint championship, but man, that trophy looks cool. I want that thing really bad. And Jett has obviously won it the last 2 years, so it's motivation's high. And I think in this off break, I'll ride a little bit SMX, trying to get more prepared than I have been prior years. But I think as far as like my Supercross setup, I would say I was on the softer side for Supercross, and I think it should work pretty well for SMX. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. There's so many good guys, and especially when you bring it to the tracks like the SMX tracks, the gap I think shrinks. Like there's not as much separation between the top 5 riders, top 10 riders. So I mean, it's really just a dogfight. I think it's going to be pretty fun, and especially St. Louis. I mean, that's pretty much a full Supercross track without whoops. So 220s on that is going to be pretty gnarly.
It is
some good dirt. St. Louis got that good dirt. We're going to be seeing some Chase Sexton lean angle in the turns.
Oh, man. This guy's been talking about St. Louis since October, man. It's crazy.
Dude, the dirt's unbelievable.
They do have good dirt. The dirt's good. Did you race there in what have been 2022? You probably raced that race, yeah?
I raced it.
Justin had to race 22.
Yeah.
Yeah, I raced.
Did you race at 22?
No. I raced it in like 2017 or something. I
It's
did
good.
remember. Do you remember when I did that like front flip off the
Oh,
dragon's back?
oh, I remember.
Oh yeah.
That was the epitome of like I will do anything to
Oh
go
yeah.
fast as fall. Like Adam, you would have thought Adam's race bonus was a 20, whatever his qualifying bonus was. You would think that was what was on qualifying because this guy. I remember. What was it? Was it Indy? It was East
Oh
West. Oh, I
yeah.
think we were on the same coast, but I was a rookie that year. I think I was fastest in the first qualifying session,
Mm.
and I just remember Adam. I think you endo on that.
Oh
There was a
dude,
three.
twice.
I remember
Twice.
Adam. Like I come around, Adam's on the ground. I come around again, he's on the ground. I'm like, dude, this guy is going. He's doing whatever it takes,
Yeah,
and
gun to my head.
I think maybe that's what taught me the do or die mentality for qualifying. I think it was you.
Yeah, I'm sure I wasn't the best influence, but I did teach you how to hit a set of whoops though.
Yeah, you did.
I
You
kind of
did.
did.
Hold on, I want to talk about that because I need to give some props to you and the team. Dude, your bike's incredible in the whoops, whether it's Supercross, Washougal this weekend, like you've got something special there.
Yeah, I think. I mean, there was no hiding that last year. In 24, when I say that a week before Anaheim won, I was going around the whoop section on a Supercross track, like not even hitting. I've never crashed in the whoop so many dang times. Like I think my first day at Alden's, when I went back after the West Coast swing, crashed in the whoops. Like I crashed in the whoops preseason multiple times. I couldn't even do a 20-minute. I didn't do probably 5 20-minute motos before the 2024 season because I was scared to hit the whoops that many times in a row. So the progress that we've made from then to like this year, like I mean, I still like what was the race? It was
East Rutherford, dude, that
Dude,
was
East
stupid,
Rutherford was
man. That was
unreal.
stupid. I
yeah,
don't get it.
that's kind of one of those races though. It's almost like Hangtown for me last year. It's when you
Blackout.
not that you black out, but like you just feel like nothing can go wrong. Like you like it's just normal. And I think I have like I don't know if you guys can see this burn, but I had a big get off. Would have been the middle of the Supercross season where I just pretty much fell apart. I was crashing a lot. I was also crashing during the week. Like I was just struggling with the bike and myself, and had a big get off in the whoops. And then I crashed at Daytona. I was like, dude, I don't know what's going on. So like a lot of people don't see like the stuff that goes on midweek, but there was even times this year where I was like doubting my whoop speed and doubting like, am I going to make it through the main event with what I got? But then there's also races like that race where like you feel like nothing can go wrong. It's just racing, and um, I think Denver was probably the race where I felt like I don't think there's many people that can go through the set of whoops faster than I was,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good feeling to have. And then this weekend was like pretty much a Supercross set of whoops, but they were obviously small. And I think the key was like I would jump in and I would shift up 2 gears, and I would just after that dump the clutch and just get off the back and let her eat. So the bike was handling very well in those. I think I made up a lot of time there as well, so it was cool.
How close? Getting close to the end here, Chase. We'll let you go. But how close does your bike have to be to where you want it to be in order to have a chance to win? Like we were just talking about that before you came on. Like what's the? I feel like now we were talking. Now the margin is so much smaller. Like it has to be. You can't win with a B setting on the bike. It's got to be like so close to where you want it to be.
I actually like. I mean, how I look at it is like is there's never really. I mean, there's been very few races in my career that I've felt like okay, like dude, my bike is awesome. Like in the main event, like there is some, but there's a lot of days like I mean, I think it was Philly this year where I was literally mid main event. I'm like, dude, I am like miserable riding this thing right now, but I'm still going fast. I think the difference between and not to throw shade on the bike, like it's just every bike has their weaknesses, every bike has their pluses, and no bike is perfect. There's always strengths and stuff like that, but um, I think I don't know. I think the good guys and the difference between good and being great is being able to ride a bike that you don't necessarily feel comfortable on and being able to go out there and still perform. Like I remember back hindsight going back, like when I was on Honda, I was kind of a spoiled brat. Like I would complain about the bike a lot. I would also say it in interviews. I said it last year with the KTM. And I think that was me just thinking the grass is always greener on the other side kind of thing. And that's not really the case. I think you always have those races where you feel good, but there's a lot more races where you don't feel comfortable and you have to overcome it. And I think that's the difference between, like I said, the good and great riders. Like the guys that can overcome that are the guys that are going to compete for championships and being able to make best of their bad nights. And yeah, like even this weekend, there's second moto, I didn't feel very comfortable at all. Like I was in my helmet, I felt like I was not riding the greatest, and I didn't. Well, I made a change for the second moto, which don't ask me why I did that, but I made a change for the second moto, and it didn't really translate like I thought it was going to, and I wasn't really comfortable. But you have to be able to ride around that. And I know there's days. I mean, the Supercross this year, Jett and Hunter, their bikes didn't look good. They obviously struggled for a little bit, but they figured it out, and they're able to ride around what their problems are. Eli, same way. So I think it's just like trying to be able to be a good enough rider, and that's something that I think I've worked on. Honestly, this last year is like I basically told myself like, yeah, you might not like the bike, you might not feel comfortable on it every day, but there's something that you have to overcome. And I think this year I've focused more on myself and being able to like make myself better to be able to overcome those situations when you don't feel comfortable. So I don't know. I think B setting, A setting, you just have to go out there and make it work kind of thing. And that's, I think for me, maturing over the last few years, getting on the KTM and going through that time where I was super uncomfortable and getting to now where the bike has gotten so much better and we've made a lot of progress. So yeah, just evolution.
Love it.
That was a long answer, but there's a lot to explain about that.
That's good. It's kind of a weird question.
Now that was a great answer because I think it just shows a ton of maturity over the years. And you saying you were hard during the podium on the motorcycle and now taking a little more accountability for, you know what, I'm a good enough rider to ride around certain circumstances. And AC and I were saying it. I mean, 1 out of every like 30 races, you feel great on the motorcycle. Like there's not very many times in my career where I can say that day or, all these days, certain days, I felt so good on the bike that, I mean, it's very few. There might be a handful of days where I felt like the bike was working exactly how I wanted it to work. So yeah, man, showing some maturity.
I mean, you've raced a lot longer than I have. And there's how many races do you say you've like, oh, I feel the bike can't do anything wrong? Like it's probably not very many.
No.
I mean, there was parts of me like coming like, I mean, Adam's known me since I've been 16, 17 years old. Like I think all of us, like even Adam, like matured so much from that time. And like, I look back at myself when I was 17 to where I am now. And even when I was on Honda, I was pretty much a spoiled brat. Like I was kind of like, the grass is always greener. I almost like, it's not that way. Every bike has its strengths and no bike is perfect. So you just have to be able to ride around it.
I always say, and you guys know this, I never switch teams, but I always say you just swap in one set of problems for another set of problems.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people just need to be around, different people have different problems and, different preferences. But Chase, what are you going to do next couple of weeks? We golfing or what are we doing?
Well, I played in Levi's. Well, there was a road to recovery tournament yesterday. I played in that. Didn't play great. Wasn't great. The driver was not on point. Not on point. Levi and I were bad. So I actually took a red eye home last night, which was
nice.
Not maybe the best move. Not the best move. But so this week, Prada's hang out. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go see Coldplay this weekend. Very excited about that.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think I'm gonna go to Loretta's one day next week. I think Wednesday. So I haven't been there since. I mean, I raced it as a pro in 2020, but I haven't been back there for the Amateur National since I raced in 2016. So I'm excited for that. Just hang out, try and work on a few things on the bike, but play a lot of golf. My handicap's down to well, it's not official. My handicap's saying 8.3 right now, so I'm trying to trying to get better. I shot even on 9 the other day.
Okay.
So yeah, we're getting better. We're trying to. I mean, you can say it's unfortunate, but I had that time when I was not racing. I played a lot of golf, so I'm trying to kind of bridge the gap to AC. AC used to be horrendous, and when he went horrendous,
Yeah.
I mean, you see his swing now. I mean, that's like Scotty Scheffler compared to I don't even know where he was at prior to.
I'm not an
I mean,
athlete, dude.
No, but honestly, your swing looks great now.
I don't know about
I
great.
can't. I mean, Adam, you would say you're probably not the most athletic person when it comes to off the dirt bike.
Put it lightly.
But I will say one thing: his basketball shot might not look pretty, but that thing it gets the job done.
It goes.
It gets the job done. But his golf swing now, I mean, you would think that you were just a naturally gifted golfer.
No.
Hey, Chase. I'm
actually saying that as a.
You know what?
I'm being honest about that.
I'll send it to you, Cole. I have my first swing at Legends, Cole Seeley 2017. I'm honestly embarrassed, but I'm going to put that video in this podcast. And so everybody can see just how bad it was. It was not good.
Adam went from being the worst is beating me. I mean, now I don't think I can really compete with Adam, but I'm trying to bridge that gap again. Now I feel like I'm the one that sucks.
Hey,
so.
Watch out for that kiss cam at the Coldplay show.
Oh, wow. That was tough. I think I said that in the press conference last week, and I think everyone thought I was joking that I was going to Coldplay. I'm like, no, I'm being dead serious. I'm going. They thought I'm like, no, I'm serious.
Yeah, that's a good show, dude. Do it.
AC's on his second swing coach, Chase, so the swing's a little bit of a sore subject right now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I will say, Adam, it's not a lack of work or a lack of effort that his swing is where it is now, because he's had. I mean, I remember back in Kings Ridge days, in Florida, he had this golf coach, getting the hoops out, different little things. He's always searching for that next level.
Yeah.
No, he will. He will.
I'm going to play you and I, actually. I don't know. We can do this in 10 years when you're done racing, but we're going to go play that ACC championship in Tahoe. And by God, we're going to win. And
if we play against each other, our friendship could go down. I mean, there was many days that Adam and I left the golf course.
Oh,
I mean, we did see each other. We rode together, so we had to see each other probably the next day. But there was days that I'm like, I'm never talking to Adam again.
Really?
We're done. We're done. We're done.
Gnarly.
It was toxic. It was bad.
Big time.
So I think now, hopefully, we're mature. I hear you have a little bit of a temper on the golf course still, but.
Yeah, no, I give TK, Tyler Keefe, who is kind of he works at your and I's agency, for those watching, but I give him some serious crap a lot. But the anger, I don't know. The anger's better. The anger's better, dude. But
anger's better.
Yeah, getting there.
I heard you. Did you leave on the 12th hole the other day?
Oh, I did, but I had something going. I had something going.
Wow.
That's
you want to jump into a couple fan questions, Chase? You got time?
Yeah, I got time. I got nothing going on, honestly.
All right, sweet. So we got a wide variety of questions. So I passed by Chase's little area in the pits on race day, and a kid was trying to get his autograph. Dude was so focused, he just sat there, and I just want to know what's going through his mind in the process of that when he zoned in like that. I want to tell him, hey man, you got this, but I didn't want to disturb him.
Well, it could have been. It depends on what time of the day it was. Was it this weekend or is it?
It sounds like this weekend, yeah.
Well, if it was after the first practice, I was 2.5 seconds slower, so I was probably contemplating on what I needed to do to bridge that gap. I don't know. I mean, there's so many times that I feel like us racers, especially Supercross and motocross, we're so exposed, especially during the day. The fans are really close to us, which is good for them, and obviously it's cool for us to interact with them. But also, there's times when I'm trying to kind of block everything out and also trying to focus on what I need to do and perform the best I can. So it's kind of a fine line. I feel like if I wanted to sign, or if I wanted to be out there all day and it's never ending. So at some point I kind of have to draw that line and kind of lock in. But I would actually say this weekend more than others, I was pretty even Friday, Saturday, I was pretty relaxed, and I don't know what's going through my head, honestly. It could have been after the first practice when I was contemplating if I should even race the motos today, or it just depends on where I'm at. But more more times than not, I'm kind of focused on what I need to get better at and kind of replaying stuff in my head.
Dude, it's hard. It's hard. It's such a fine line. There's always somebody that's going to say that you're an a-hole. Like, it's just, you get caught at the wrong time. And then that's that one person's like only experience ever with you.
Yeah.
And you got to be on every, for every single person. So I can relate to
it's
that.
hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like, I don't like being, I mean, I feel like there's probably more people than not that think that I'm kind of like maybe a dick. I mean, I'm trying not to come off that way, but that's just at the races, especially. Like, if you saw me during the week, I'm very relaxed. And I mean, whether it's me on the golf course, maybe not, but, I feel like during the week I'm pretty relaxed, but like race day is like our time to like, it's like time to make hay when the sun's shining. Like, we got to go. Like, it's kind of do or die. So it's just a tough spot. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't trade it. I'm not complaining. It's just like, again, when I was young and I was that kid trying to get an autograph, like if someone didn't show me the time of day or like I got turned down, like, yeah, it bums you out as a kid. And I can kind of, now being in that position where I was trying to get that guy's autograph, no, I'm in the receiving, or I'm the guy giving the autograph. It's kind of like, you see it from both sides, and it is tough because just depends on what time of the day you catch the guy.
Does Chase think the pace of the 450 class has changed while he's been in it? And if so, what caused that evolution?
I would say it's changed. I mean, honestly, when Jett came in 23, I'll be the first to admit it, the pace, whether it was the pace or just the way of riding, kind of changed. And you have to evolve. Like, you can't. I feel like the guy I was in 2022 to the guy I am today. I mean, I ride very similar, but there's things that I do different. I would say, like, back to like the percentage thing. Like in 2022, like, I mean, I was on the rev limiter every moto. It was 100%. I was racing Eli. Like, that's how he rode. So I thought that was the way to go. Like, I mean, I would say I was a little bit more in between like Jett and Eli at that point. Like, I was maybe more finesse, but I was, again, pretty aggressive. And now, like, even this weekend, like, I feel like riding, like, we're going hard, but again, it's coming fairly easy. I would say it's coming easier than it did back then, nowadays, but I think the pace is higher. It's hard when you're in it. Like, I always ask Kenny, like, what was the pace like when you raced in 2014 compared to now, or like Dunge? And they all say it's higher, but like when you're in it, it's hard to really judge, I guess.
What would you be doing if racing dirt bikes didn't work out?
I think about that question kind of a lot, but I also find myself, when I ask myself that question, I almost like disregard it, because there's a lot of things that could be different with what I'm doing. Like, obviously, if I grew up, and I always feel like when you're destined to do something, you find it. Like, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, when you are good at something, like, God puts that into your hands. Like, that's what you're gonna do. Like, you're not getting around it. So for me, like, I was born to race a dirt bike, and that was, I mean, that's like, I really feel like that's my purpose in life, is to be good at what get my God-given ability to kind of go out there and perform. So, I kind of don't really, I try not to think about it. I mean, that kind of slips in sometimes, but, I wouldn't change it for anything. I don't know, honestly, other than, if I didn't race dirt bikes, I'd probably be farming in Illinois, to be honest, with all my buddies.
So Chase seems to be very fit, very strong on that training topic you guys were talking about earlier. What's his favorite training days? I see he swims a lot, and not a lot of other riders show that.
It honestly goes in waves. Like, I think for a month, I could really like cycling. For another month, I could really like running. Another month, I could really like gym. It just kind of goes, like, we train pretty much all year, and it just goes in spurts. Right now, I'm really into swimming because, well, one, I was really bad at it. So I got to I started swimming and I was really bad. So all I want to do is get better at swimming. And now, like, within the last probably month, I've learned how to do flip turns. So I feel like when I'm in the pool, like, I look the part now. Like, I can kind of do the flip turn. I look normal. Like, when I swim, I'm training at like the National Training Center here in Claremont. And I'm not swimming with a swim cap, no like jammers or anything like that. So I already kind of look off. But I feel like I look the part now. At least I'm getting better. So I think right now swimming is probably my favorite. But I like all sorts of cardio. I don't. People probably think I love to live in the gym, just because that's kind of how I'm built. But honestly, I'll do anything else other than going to the gym. I don't like going to the gym. So I would say any type of cardio.
All right, last one. Have you had any favorite teammates through the years, and what riders would you want to work with closely in the future on or off the track?
I mean, I would probably say the closest teammate I've had was Ken. I mean, us riding to. I met him prior. Like, I met him when I was 16. He was dominating the 450 class. So I would say like getting to know him and then becoming teammates with him was really cool. There was also a time where Ken and I did not talk for probably 6, 8 months. Like it was a time where like there was some animosity between us. Like I wanted to beat him. I was probably super annoying to him because I was a rookie in the 450 class, and I like my goal not only to beat Ken, but like that's where I wanted to be. And like I probably made that pretty clear. Like I probably came off as a dick, but that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be where he was at, and he was like the guy I looked up to growing. Like he saw me when I was an amateur, and then I was his teammate. So like that transition period, I mean, you could ask him. There was there was a lot of times where we didn't talk. He had his own bus, so we didn't really see each other on race day, and there was definitely some weird moments. But I would say Kenny, being teammates with Aaron is really cool. I mean, everyone loves Aaron. He's such a nice guy. And then obviously Tom. I would say Tom and I would say actually Tom and I are probably the closest because we're pretty good friends and we train off the bike together as well. So yeah, I've had a lot of good teammates. I really don't have any teammates that I've like not liked. So yeah, I don't know. I think I've had really good relationships with the guys I've been on the team with. So I think that's something that I can kind of hold, and it's pretty special.
Awesome. Chase, thanks for
Good
taking
stuff,
the time, man. We appreciate it. Congrats on
No
the win.
worries.
That was a lot of fun to watch, and enjoy a couple weeks off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sounds good.
fun
Hopefully you guys
Coldplay,
don't see
man.
me at Coldplay on the big screen.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, see ya.
One of the things that Chase is known for now, I think, is his honesty in interviews. And I love that. Like I love how he was like, dude, at Honda I was a spoiled brat. Like that kind of surprised me that he said that.
Yeah, and I was around then. I witnessed it. I didn't want to say it while he was on, but I was around a lot in that that time, and I was testing a lot of stuff for Chase behind the scenes. We were trying to search for a certain setting and get that magic feel, that we've been talking a lot on during the show. And he was, and it's good that he recognizes that. But I love the maturity, man. I love that. And the one thing that I was thinking when he was talking about just the maturity and taking some more ownership, I was thinking he's going to be dangerous in these playoffs coming up and 2026, 2027. Like if that Chase Sexton shows up with a lot of maturity and ownership for himself, he's going to be good.
Could be a problem. And it's crazy how fast things can change, right? Like we saw the Millville performance, and we're like, dude, he's still got a ways to go. And then he comes out this weekend, and just goes to show like how talented all those guys are. Tomac, Jett, Hunter, Chase, just all those guys can kind of just turn it on at any second. And, going from one side of the spectrum to the other, JB, we got to talk about Prado. We got to talk about Prado, dude. The guy needs a teleprompter. I listened to Lewis Phillips interview before Washougal press day. No. Like, we can't be doing that, JB. I love Prado. I really do, man. And it's a hard position for me to be in because, the dude took my ride. I was done anyway. I was terrible. So it's not like some personal, he came over here, took my ride. I got nothing against Prado. I want to see people succeed. But this whole, like, it's not up to me. Like, I don't know, man. I'm just doing my best. Like, dude, that's just doesn't look good. I mean, on one hand, I appreciate the honesty, I guess. But, I think part of your job as a racer, like he signed with Cowie, rode the bike, knew the people he's going to be working with, and you're also responsible. It's part of your job. Part of your job to get the bike where you want it. And a lot of it's based on your own feedback. And that's a skill in and of itself. And normally the best guys at that end up doing the best over long periods of time. But yeah, I just got to touch on that, dude. I'm not a fan of the my hands are tied type of look to the media. To me, it's like you win and lose as a team.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't even know where to start on this one or how much you want to, like, I don't know. I'm kind of done talking about it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, it's just so difficult to listen to it because I feel bad for the Kawasaki guys. I really do, because they're trying their best. And I know I can just imagine how many hours and hours and hours they're putting in. And I'm sure Jorge wants to get better as well, but I just don't think any team, you just cannot be one-sided. That'd be like a quarterback just constantly blaming the offensive line and like publicly interviews. I'd be winning Super Bowls if it wasn't for my offensive line and this and that. Like, you just don't say that. You just can't say that. And then you also can't give up on the racetrack. Like, he's not trying his best. There's just no way he's trying his best, because I think he could ride
It's too good.
a stock motorcycle
Absolutely.
and be inside the top 10. Like,
Every
he's that
single
great
time.
of a rider.
Every single
So,
time.
yeah, I don't even know where
Yeah, and we'll move on, because I really don't want to, like, I get sports media and how it works, and when people are struggling, that's what gets the clip. I'm not trying to get on the guy because he's down, but it's one of the things you said about, the Kawasaki guys. Like, that's my family over there.
Yeah.
I've been there since 2004, man. Like, though, I know those guys. I know Oscar, his crew chief. He's been in South Carolina. I know that he cares about his job. I know that he cares about his riders. And so, yeah, to me, the only time it would be okay to be like, I can't ride this motorcycle. Like, this thing is just terrible. Like, to throw the team under the bus that bad, it would have to be them just straight up not cooperating.
Yeah.
Like, being like, this philosophy that you have for the bike, Jorge, is wrong, and we're not going to. I just really don't think that's happening. Of course, there are nuances behind the scenes that you and I don't know about. I'm not getting on the phone with Oscar or anybody and being like, "What's the deal, man?" Yeah, I don't get any info like that. I don't ask. To me, it's not professional to do that. But yeah, I think it comes down to your job is to go out there and do the best that you can. And we've all been in headspaces sometimes that prevents us from doing that. Like, I'll be the first one plenty of times with my whole arm, nerve thing, where I was like so discouraged that it probably looked like I was giving up, but I was like fighting this battle within myself. And maybe that's some of what's happening out there. But as you said, the guy's so good. He's so good. Yeah. He's not maximizing the bike. He goes out there, gets a 5th, and then like the next moto rolls around, gets 20th. That's not maximizing the bike. And the struggles aside, the guy's a world-class athlete. He's a good dude. You ran into him in the grocery store. He's a great dude. I don't like the throwing the team under the bus thing, dude.
Yeah.
I just don't like that. Other than that, like, I really don't see a reason why Jorge can't look. I don't think he's going to, especially with Supercross. He's not going to come over here and be a Jett or be a Chase. But there's no reason, to me, with the ability that he has, he can have a career over here for a long time. I think he's that good for sure. I think he can figure it out. But yeah, we can't be throwing the team under the bus like that. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. One thing I will say about it is I was talking to Max Anstey this morning, and we were just kind of talking about stuff. He's back on the bike. He's looking to maybe do some of the last.
It's good news.
Maybe the last 3 nationals potentially, which is cool to hear. But I was talking to him about Prado, and Max raced at a high level in MXGPs, and his take, which is actually pretty interesting, is he believes that the production rule over here is more of a bigger deal than what we all think. Look, you and I we've had to live with it our whole life. There's no different. But his thing over there, and he said the KTM group specifically in Europe, who Jorge was riding for, has it so dialed and so specific on what you can do to tailor to each guy, like frame length, swing arm
Yeah.
length. Like they can
They can do
change
a lot more.
anything and everything.
Mhm.
And he thinks they had the bike so good, so tailored to Jorge because of that rule, that now it's a huge transition to go from an Austrian bike to a Japanese bike, but it's even a bigger transition in his mind to go to the production rule, which is kind of interesting and maybe something we haven't talked about enough.
Definitely.
That these are the bones of the motorcycle that you have to work with,
It's a
and you
great
can't
point.
change it. He's not used to that, so maybe that's a bigger deal than we think, and that's coming from someone that literally had to live it. And
That's a
so, yeah, it's an
That's a
interesting
great
take.
point. That really is a great point, JB. And I think we should talk about that more. The only counter I would have to that is the podcast interviews that Jorge did, like in the off season.
Yeah,
Right? Like he
not a
pretty
good look
much
right now.
said, he pretty
Yeah.
much was like, I got on the Cowie and this thing's way better.
Yeah, I know.
Which we just had, we had Chase on, and he was talking about that it's really easy to get in that grass is greener on the other side mentality, right? And I don't know, maybe Jorge rode it on Supercross, didn't ride on outdoor or something like that. But you're right. There are a lot of things. I'm not super familiar with the rules in MXGP, but I do know that they can customize more stuff over there than they do here. They're way more of like works one-off motorcycles there, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. But I don't know. I'm with you. Like the off-season interviews, it's not a good look right now
Yeah.
because there was some bashing of the gas, and that's maybe why he wasn't riding at a certain level in Supercross when he did those few races and such. So, yeah, the biggest thing for me is just an effort level thing, and then respecting the team, and the words that you say affect those guys more than maybe what he thinks they do. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that I will end this on a positive. And I do think the guy has the skill. If they get it figured out, if they get the bike, in a spot that he likes it, he can be a guy that gets on the podium, can, maybe win a race. I don't doubt that. I really don't. And I don't mean to come down on the guy like overly. I just saw that interview and I was like, dude, come on. That's crazy. And I think Justin, for Jett, as I said, it's weird when he doesn't win. Was it 22 out of 24 now, which is just an insane stat. But it's going to happen sometimes. Like it just is going to happen. Like the pace that he has started on, 22 out of 24. I don't care how good you are, dude. Like that is almost impossible to keep up that same pace. Even if you were to ask Jett before he got on a 450, like if this is the way it was going to go, he probably would have slapped you right in the face and been like, no way. So it's weird. Like these little mistakes he's been making, falling over. He's had some amazing comebacks from that this week. It was a little too much. Third in the first moto. Came out, rebounded really well. Second moto. But not worried. Not worried. It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he showed a lot of maturity on the podium. I believe it was JT interviewed him. He just said, look, Washougal's not my track. And you could tell he just kind of licking his wounds, and, he's got a big points lead. Still won the second moto. Had a little tip over first moto. But I think you got to give Chase a lot of credit,
totally.
especially like you said, that first moto where he was going really fast. And yeah, Jett just calm demeanor. And look, he's won everything. I mean, what's there to say other than he just had an off day, he still went 3-1 and has a big points lead and probably going to win this championship.
And I think what's impressive and maybe kind of scary for everybody else is that we talk about it. We've talked about it plenty, but like, how does somebody like a Jett that wins as much as he does, like what do they shoot for? We always talk about, getting to the top is one thing, of course, but staying there is another. And we've talked about it with Hayden Deegan too. Little moments like this, like you know that Jett is probably like irritated about it. We've talked to him. He's pretty like emotionally mature. He lets things kind of roll off of him, but it's not how he wanted to go into a two week break. He's not really used to losing. But I think when you give guys that are used to having to kind of manufacture their own motivation, and you give them something to bounce back from, scary. Like, that's scary. So I think Jett's fine. There's another thing in the 450 class that kind of went down this weekend was the red flag and them starting from a gate like that, kind of like they were talking John Starling. It's kind of like they've been doing in practice, going down the line, letting them go. Dude, I like the fact that they didn't go back to the gate and restart the whole moto because I think that's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
But it looked a little scary. Like it looked a little sketchy for my guy John.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we started the show talking about me at the beach. I was watching with a couple of my friends that know nothing about racing, and we watched that, and both of them were like, wait, what if that guy falls? And I'm like, look, man, I don't know. This is the first time in the history of the sport that we've done this. So, like, bear with us right now. Don't judge anything. But they even said that. And I was thinking the same. I'm like, man, if Starling falls, like, and the adrenaline as a racer, you're just wheeling his leg or something, dude. You're going for
I'm running him
You're
over.
gone. Yes, exactly. So I think it's a step in the right direction, but I'm sure it's being looked at. And how do we move past it up to another level? Because it was last year, the year before, Budds Creek, Hayden had a huge lead. He was gone. He's going to win the race. They went back to the gate. He didn't have a good moto. And right then I'm like, wait, this isn't right. Like something needs to be changed here. They did change it. Now we're here. I don't have an exact solution on what could be better, but it was a step in the right direction. They should never go all the way back to the gate and just restart. Like that's crazy to me. So they're evolving. It's just, I think we need to take another step of evolution from here. And honestly, it would be really easy for John to fall. There's ruts. It's loose. When he went around that little sign by the doghouse, like, I don't know, I was kind of scared for him.
Gosh, I'm thinking like F1. Like, what if it was like a virtual safety car or something?
Yeah, someone leads them around, and then all of a sudden they come to a green flag or something. I'm fine with that. Like, just do a roll.
It bunches everybody back up, everyone back up, makes the race more exciting. Full course caution. I don't know. You could stop the clock. You could keep the clock going.
I like that. I mean,
I think that'd be cool. Plus, it's like one of the things that the guys were saying, and it's part of the challenge, but going from wide open like that back to the gate, everybody gets the heart rate back down, and then you got to go again.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something better that we can do there. I do applaud though. We're making steps.
Mm-hmm.
We're making change. I do like that.
Yeah.
Anything else in the 450 class you want to talk about?
No, think we're good. RJ had another great ride.
Oh,
he's becoming a guy. He's just becoming a top level 450 guy, and it's really impressive.
I wonder how he's going to do in Supercross.
That's what I keep asking myself too. Like, I'd be like, if it's this level, like passing Hunter, being top 5 all the time, I mean, it would surprise me. I guess I'll just say it would surprise me if this level
continues.
Because it's super impressive, man. He's right there. He's getting podiums and motos. He's top 5 all the time. I mean, I just think it's really, really impressive what he's doing.
I agree 100%. I can go on and on about RJ. I have toughest guy in dirt bike racing.
Oh yeah,
I'll leave it at that. 250 class. Joe Shimoda, man.
Your boy. Put the cats away. Found some dogs again.
What did I say? What did I say, man? That guy we were talking about at the start of the season. Who is fit enough to challenge Hayden? And I'd put Joe Shimoda up against anybody. I'd put him up against Chase Sexton, Jett Lawrence. Not bike, not like him beating those guys, but fitness wise, he's like you, dude. He doesn't sweat. I've talked about it on the show before. Sleeping is his superpower. So, sleep is everything. The more we learn about the human body, the more important sleep becomes. Mm-hmm. And that guy can go to bed anywhere. On the floor of an airport, 12 hours, no problem.
That's so crazy to me.
Doesn't sweat, doesn't get tired. And this is the best part. He loves when the track is terrible.
Yeah.
Like terrible. And that track at Washougal, I love it. But definitely the 250s being the second moto, I think that really played into his strengths. He loves it, man. The potholes, square edges, slick spots, blown out turns. It's like he looks forward to that. And dude, it was a pretty dominant It was a pretty dominant performance. I don't know how much the leg is still affecting Hayden, but it took Hayden a bit of time in that second moto to come up through the pack. It's not like he just got to the guy's back wheel like we're used to seeing and went right around him. I imagine that has something to do with the track.
Yeah.
But by the time Joe pulled away pretty much the entire moto, over 20 seconds. We saw this in 2023 with Joe. End of the series, he is a dangerous, dangerous man. And I don't know, he's got a lot of momentum headed towards into pro motocross, going into the playoffs. And once again, we are at that point with Joe where it's like, okay, Hayden is kind of on the way out of the class, probably going to race Supercross in the 250 class one more year. And then it's going to be Joe's class. Right now, that's where I'm at.
Yep.
So, I don't know, dominant performance from Joe. I mean, what can you say? The kit was clean. I believe he had the hand guards on, I think, right? Or am I tripping?
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I think he did. Anyway, his kit was clean.
Wouldn't surprise me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what more can you say? He rides the bike. God, it looks so easy, man.
I have a few thoughts. The first one is when you were mentioning how much he loves the rough track, like he really does. But the thought I had was, dude, he's going to be good on a 450. He's going to be really good. Not only from his technique and the way he rides the bike, very calm, but also just you think about throughout the years of now these 20-minute plus a lap motos in Supercross, the track is hammered.
Destroyed.
Joe comes alive when the track gets hammered in the 250 class, and that's basically the start of the 450 main. Same for pro motocross. When 450s go second, man, the track just late in the day is completely toast, man. It's hammered. Joe comes alive. So I don't know. I've never really thought of that until you just mentioned that about Joe just being so good late in the day and just his technique and stuff. So that's my first thought. Second thought is I mentioned track position for Joe, and I can't help but think about the playoffs because Hayden's got this motocross championship locked up. If he doesn't get hurt,
it's gone.
He's a pro motocross champion. Deservedly so. He's
yeah.
been amazing. He's been the best guy. But Joe could be a problem with track position in these playoffs come Charlotte. I know Hayden is extremely fast at those, but with the aggression that we've seen from Joe towards Hayden, which I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
remember Seattle?
Seattle, it was unbelievable. We're just shaking our head like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But if he can bring that aggression level with some track position to Charlotte, he could give Hayden some problems. And honestly, right now, I think he's the only one that could give him some problems.
I'm still waiting on like a Levi Kitchen signature race this season. I really am.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on with that guy right now. He's unreal. He's one of my buddies. Great dude. So talented. We talked about it earlier in the year, but I remember last year watching him win 2024 at Anaheim too and thinking to myself, this is a future 450, champion. He's so good. He's just been a little bit out of it. But like you said, Joe's kind of the only guy that's proven that he can be there. And the thing with Joe, I think, watching him now, I have confidence that when he gets a bad start, he's still going to figure it out. Like he's still going to get into the top 5, the top 3. And I think, I just think it's dangerous. I think when Joe goes to the gate and thinks that he can win, because let's face it, for a while there, first 4 or 5 rounds, I don't think anybody thought that they could beat Hayden, like heads up. And so I think Joe's coming on strong, man. And I was actually really surprised when he left Kawasaki, because I thought for sure that's a guy that you're going to want on a 450. Like I thought that he was kind of that trajectory he was on. I thought in a couple of years that put him on factory Cowie on a 450. And then now he's in that position with Honda where, I mean, they're either going to field a 3-rider team or they don't have a spot for him. Yeah. I mean, the Lawrence brothers, that's their, and they've deserved that 100%. But I just wonder, I heard that Joe signed a 1 year with Honda, but I just wonder where he goes from there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting topic to talk about. because of that, just the 450 plans. I mean, you and I have been in that situation. It's like, okay, what's the roadmap here in 2 years' time? I mean, your roadmap was pretty laid out. You were Kawasaki, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, then you were going to Factory Cowie. For me, I had to strategically think about, okay, if I'm on KTM, well, that's blocked. They got X racing for them. Okay, if I go to wherever, right? You're trying to figure out this roadmap. And if you're anybody on a 250 Honda right now, there's the roadmap. I feel like it's a dead end. And
Yeah.
even if you're Honda and if you wanted to add a third guy, like what would really be the benefit? Honestly, even though Joe would be great, you've got Hunter and Jett. You've got maybe the best two guys in the world right now. So even if you had the budget, which I don't know how you would, because Jett demands a high paycheck. Hunter demands a level type paycheck. You've got a 250 program that you need to fund. So I just don't even see why you would want to field three other than you really like Joe and you just had some money to spend, because I don't think Joe's going to beat Jett or Hunter.
Well,
But if you're another team, if you're a KTM or really anywhere else, you're thinking, all right, Joe signed a 1-year deal with Honda. And 2027, I'm sure he's already, I don't know if he has an agent or what, but I'm sure they're already talking to manufacturers, or they've talked to Honda,
yeah.
and Honda has told them yes or no for a 450 deal. And if they told him no, they're already talking 2027 with other teams, because he's that good on another manufacturer. He'll be great wherever he rides.
The only problem that I see with Honda's kind of template they have right now is I think they're just going to lose. They're going to lose out on like top level 250 guys, because the best 250 guys want their last contract on a 250. They want that to also be a guaranteed 450 deal. And so whoever comes along, maybe it's Chance Hymas. Maybe he gets there in Supercross. We know he can do it outdoors. But whoever comes along, I think if you're trying to make that 250 program great, it's going to be tough when there's nowhere to go. You're going to end up with guys that probably wouldn't have a ride otherwise. You're really not going to end up with those super, you're not going to end up with the next Jett, if there is a next Jett, or the next Hunter, in my opinion. So that's just something that's a great problem to have, because they have two. Yeah. They got two guys.
And if that bike is good enough to win, which it is, and they pay enough to get an A-level guy, which they do, and you can do your own gear deal, and you can do your own energy drink deal. Like, you're going to make
huge.
Yeah, let's just say, what'd you make at Pro Circuit? 500?
Mm-hmm.
So if a high-level 250 guy is making 400 to 500, so let's just say Honda paid him 400, you get another 2 or 3 from a gear deal, you get another couple from an energy drink deal. If you're going to make 400 or 500 more grand before you even get on the motorcycle,
I guess you're right
over there, and it's a high-level equipment to where you can win, 450 deals will come.
Okay,
right?
fine. We'll change the show name to the JB and AC show. Okay, I get it. You're smarter than me.
No, it's a
no. You're
it's
right.
a good problem to have.
I didn't think about the gear.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the gear.
That's a big lure over there, man.
Yeah,
it just is.
It's huge.
Big,
it could be an extra 500. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this drink weird thing that Joe's had going on though, since he was Monster, right?
He was
last year. Now he's drink weird. I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. Maybe order it, just because he's been dominant. What else?
Hayden, still a solid day. I mean, 1-2. What can you say?
Fine
He's
with
going
it.
to be a champion. He's, I'm ready to see him on a 450.
Yeah,
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it.
I think he's probably ready for it too. Did you hear on the broadcast, Duff told somebody that he's going to ride a 450 in this couple weekend break here?
Yeah.
Which, that's cool. I'm sure we'll get an Insta banger or two.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even, I don't know. I wouldn't rule out like just a straight up like shot to Jett, just 100%. Like a hey, I'm coming or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, dude,
I liked what Stu said though. He kind of shot the theory down of like him lining up, and he had great reasons for it. All that you and I probably agree with. Just what's the point? Because everyone will think, oh, if he clinches at Ironman, why couldn't he just do Unadilla and Budds Creek? Well, Then he's got to go back to a 250. Then there's,
No, it doesn't make
you
any
know, he's not going to beat Jett at those 2 races. He's, you know, it's going to be hard to compete with Chase and Eli and all these guys. So if he goes 6.5, like, it's just not a great look. Like, there's all these reasons why not to, and there's one reason, which is publicity, to do it. So I just don't see it. I don't see it happening, but I do see putting some time on it this offseason, probably doing some Supercross testing, even if he races 250 Supercross. But also, do you remember when Hayden did, I believe it was Anaheim 1 or Anaheim 2 Futures, didn't do that well, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm racing pro.
Finish. Huh?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden he's like, I'm racing pro. And we're like, wait, you didn't win the Futures race, SMX next now, but you're going to race pro? And they did it all. Remember that whole year, they were like, we're just rookies. It's just a bonus. If we get a podium, cool. Like, remember Brian and everyone was kind of like, what if they just did that same thing for 450 Supercross? Had a year to learn, had a year of just, look, we're not here to win races. We're just here to learn. We're just here to learn the motorcycle. Because what's going to happen is if he lines up for motocross next year, you got to instantly start to win. There's no learning. And then 2027 Supercross, it's instant. You got to win.
Mm-hmm.
Where if they go 450 Supercross in 26, I think there's a little bit of like not much pressure of just, hey man, we're just here to learn. We're not here to, and I think he would still do well, but what do you think about that? There might be some pressure be taken off. It worked throughout his 250 career. Could they have the same play for 450?
Worked pretty well for Justin Cooper, too.
Worked great for
2023, raced like 4 or 5 races, was kind of in that 5 to 10 spot, and we see how well he's doing now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it just depends on how much like the narrative how much they care about the narrative.
Yeah.
Because look, I think Hayden attracts. He's got a huge fan base. He's got the YouTube thing going. And I do think there are newer fans of the sport that follow Hayden, that see everything that's said, see, you know, what's happening on track. And they're just like, yeah, Hayden's going to come in and just, you know, clean up. He's just going to keep winning. And, you know, that's not going to happen. Like, it just doesn't work like that. Like, especially in today's day and age, like he may, like, if he does stay on the program doing 250 Supercross next year, goes in outdoors, like, I don't think that he will be successful, but we're not setting the bar at 1-1. You know, just like get him in there, be in that. If you're in that pack with Justin Cooper, you know, Hunter Lawrence, like if you're battling for that kind of 3rd spot in the top 5, I'm fine with that. But yeah, there's a few different ways that they can attack it. And I applaud them for how well they've managed kind of the last, you know, the first few years of his career.
Yeah.
It's really important. It really is. Like, so much of it, of course, is talent and how bad the guy wants it, how hard he works and all that. But a lot of it too is having smart people around you that's putting you in position to succeed. Because as a young athlete, all you're trying to do is go out there and kick some butt, man. Like, you know, I remember when I was young and turning pro, like I definitely turned pro too early. I was tiny. I like just hit puberty, you know, but I was like, I want to race. Like, I just want to race. And so I think they've done a great job so far. So I try whatever they do, man. I think it'll probably be the best move for them.
Well, you mentioned that fan base. The guys that went to the beach with, like I said, they don't really listen. They're kind of they're kind of casual watchers. They know a little bit. The one is like, oh, Hayden's going to smoke him in the 450 class.
No.
He's going to smoke him. I'm like, dude, come on. But that's just like, that's an example of someone that's not fully entrenched in the scene, watching from the outside, watching how fast Hayden is. And I don't know, just an interesting take. I always like to hear other people's take on what they're kind of seeing. And yeah.
So 2 guys left for me in the 250 class. And we'll start with who we talked about a little last week, Austin Forkner, dude. What, like, that's got to feel good. That's got to feel good. And for Austin Forkner, you take a look at his career. I was watching an old, Racer X has like the video vault. They do old motos and stuff on YouTube. I love going back. And I was watching, I think 2016 Washougal, where Austin got his first moto win. So he's always ridden well there. But you look at his career, and especially just the last few years, we all know the brain surgery last year before that. And then, the weird crash off the start in 23 at Anaheim. And you just go back, the crash with Jett. You have all these moments, all these big, dramatic, low moments for Austin. And when I look at his year, he goes over to Triumph, takes a leap of faith, leaves Mitch. And I look at the year, and we've been watching his results, and we've been trying to give him for me, I've been giving him kind of a free pass, because it's hard to figure out like what's pushing it too hard and what's not. But to go out there every week, we saw in Supercross, like he's barely making mains sometimes.
Yeah.
Like barely making mains. And there's part of you starts to say in your head, like, I don't know, like maybe it's just never going to happen again. And I think for him to sit through this whole year and do that every weekend to get 20th, and to no doubt that brings questions of like, should I even be doing this anymore?
Yeah.
And I got a lot of respect for sticking with it and getting to a spot where you can go out there and get a top 5, because, at one point that was no problem for Austin. That was expected to win podium, top 5, but a lot has changed. And I just applaud the mental fortitude, man, to stick with it. Best result of the season for him by far. Couldn't happen at a better time either, because a lot of people were starting to hit the panic button. Like, I'm not sure this is ever going to happen. But it's nice to see some signs.
Yeah. Shout out to that Triumph factory racing team as well for believing in him. I'm sure behind the scenes they're sticking with him, and I cannot stress enough how important that is as a racer. When you get knocked down, you got to be with these guys all week long. I mean, they literally become your family. Like you mentioned, the Kawasaki guys are your family. They become your family. And when you have a support system outside of just the racetrack, it helps you believe in yourself. It helps you put in the work on a Tuesday when you just got 18th. It helps you go to the gym and do the bike ride and all these things. So I'm sure he's got a support system around him. Just had his first child. There's a lot of kind of emotion in that, becoming a father. And yeah, there's a lot going on there. I love to see it. And he had a lot of fight in him. He really did. Like, he was making passes. He was fighting hard. He looked comfortable on the bike. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. A hall pass for the whole year. Look forward to Supercross next year. I think he could do some good things. We've seen late in the Supercross season, he was starting to qualify. I think he was second at a couple races. Still would like to see some bar risers on the bike, AC. I'd like to put a 5 mil spacer or something.
I'm with you.
In the bars, especially for Supercross. Low, dude. They're low, man.
They're too low. Yeah.
Let's bump those bars up a little bit, Austin.
I don't get that, dude. He's going to have bad posture. He's going to have bad posture. He's like Justin Bogle, dude, the 999, Earthall 999. But yeah, dude, the last thing that I'll say about Austin, too, we've been talking all year about how good Triumph has been. And that sucks. Sucks to be on a team that's doing good and you're doing bad all year. You're like the black sheep. Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel good going to the track during the week. Doesn't feel good. It's like, as a rider, you're so, you take so much pride in your work. And when it's not happening on track and everybody else is doing good, everybody else is succeeding, that's a tough place to be. But I think, man, again, heck of a job just sticking with it. It's hard to do, JB. Another guy that we were just having a little debate off air, Dilian Schwartz, man. Dilian Schwartz, what a weekend. Dang.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, that was so good. So good. The question was last week, AC, does he deserve a factory ride? And that's no discredit to his team. I don't, because sometimes I think the teams might take offense to that, and the only reason I say that is the team's been doing great. Parker Ross has been doing incredible. They've given these kids an opportunity. It's just there's certain things. There's, for one, salary. I don't know what Dilian is making. But if you're getting top 5s in motos and running third at a motocross race and getting a bunch of top 10s, and I mean, I don't know exactly what that salary is, but it's probably around 6
200.
figures. Yeah. He's not getting that right now, guaranteed.
No.
So if he had that opportunity, and then another thing is just little stuff, man, like transmission ratios that I don't think they would have access to.
Mm-hmm.
Just personnel and all these things. So I don't want that team to take offense to it.
Of course not.
But also, maybe the team is looking to build, and maybe Yamaha gives them more support, and maybe they rally around Dilian and get some more budget, and so maybe there is a long-term play for him there.
I think they're maximizing what they have right now, and that's all you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all you can do. Not every team is a factory Honda or factory Yamaha. Not every team has the resources, but it's about doing the best you can within that. And I think they've done a great job of giving those guys a platform to succeed. Mm-hmm. You know, we're at a spot now where we're talking about Dilian Schwartz potentially being a factory rider. He wouldn't be able to do that without the team that he's on right now, BarX, Toyota, Redlands, Yamaha. So
yeah, it is
solid.
Also
a lot of intensity. That guy rides with a lot of intensity.
You like to, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It is a slippery slope for a team like that though, because if you then, let's just say Dilian gets an offer from a factory team for 150 grand. Now they match it, and then there's other things that go along with that Dilian requests. Then, like, it can just get to a point where the team is spending too much money. I lived this with certain teams. Like, you should want to be a platform, a stepping stone for a Dilian Schwartz, and live in that. Definitely. Live in that space.
Firepower's done a great job with that.
Yes, live in that space, because Uribe knows that you can't compete with the factory guys and let them go. Applaud them. Max Anstey, prime example. Perfect example. Uribe applauded him, let him out early of his contract to go race for Star Yamaha. So, and if Uribe tried to compete with factory Honda, you go broke.
Yeah, 100%.
You go broke. I rode for MCR for a long time. Mike Genova, love him to death. Great guy. But he knows his limit. When I'm winning a race and getting podiums all the time, you got to let me go to factory Honda, because it's now's time and the budget. Like, even though Genova's very, very wealthy, he knows his limit. So all I'll say is, for a team like that, it's a slippery slope to want to keep these guys and these results, and then you end up spending too much money and you go way over budget, and it's not fun anymore, and you're gone. You don't want to do it. So I love where they're living right now. Parker Ross, Dilian Schwartz, these guys in the top 10, love it. Doing a great job.
Fantastic. Yeah, dude, that's pretty much Washougal.
I got two. We got to give Marchbanks a shout out.
Dude. Oh, dude, we did.
Podium 3-4, so many passes.
Gosh, that guy.
And the kid just continues to impress. Like, he's
so good.
He's really, really fast right now.
Does he have a deal
so
for next year?
Last I've heard, he did not. He does not have a deal as we speak.
Cole Beach is shaking his head no. He does not have a deal. He's got to have a deal. Dude, he's been so consistent.
Yeah.
He's
earned it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's one of those guys to me. I've told the story 1,000 times, but as a 16, he went pro at 16. If you go pro at 16, dude, you got something. You got something. You don't just send a 16-year-old out there in the fire for no reason. And there was times, man, that his rookie season, 17 years old, like at the practice track, where I was just like, dude, like, this guy's got some serious pace. Like, he can rip. So it's just been kind of about doing it, executing on Saturday for him. Of course, he's 190 pounds probably. It's going to be tough for him to get off the gate. I did kind of I don't know if I liked it or not. Maybe I did. He didn't get, I think it was Thunder Valley. He got a moto podium and they didn't have time to interview him.
Yeah, that was
so it's like he held on to that, and he's like, dude, next time I get on the podium, man, I'm going to really stick it to these guys. Thought it was kind of funny.
No, he's earned a deal. There's no doubt about it.
No doubt.
He'll get a deal probably where he's at. And I think he's going to be a threat in Supercross. I think he'll win a race next year. But one other guy, Ryder D, stamp it right now. He's going to have a breakout year in 2026.
Really? Okay.
Stamp it. We're going to be talking January, February next year. Ryder D with a couple podiums, Ryder D leading a bunch of laps. Because 11.8 is not great on paper, but he was up front a lot. He's been qualifying very, very well. And everything from the eye test that I'm seeing, he's a high level guy. And maybe it's just taking time to get back from injury and such.
Yeah.
But 2026, Ryder D is going to have a breakout.
He's a great. I mean, he won Loretta Lynn's at 5 years old. Who does that? Like he's been a winner since he
probably.
was.
I mean,
no, not me, not
no.
me. He's been a winner since he was young.
Yeah.
And when you win young, you're dealing with pressure for a really long time. And so he's a guy to me, absolutely, that could go out next year, be a lot better, get in the race lead, and not be freaked out by it.
Yeah,
because he's won a lot of races, and that's how it works. Like some people can't do it from the front; it takes time. And he's won enough races where I think he knows how to win. It's just getting to the level where he can do it. In the pro class, and we talk about it, but injuries have definitely hurt his progress. I will say there has been times, for whatever reason. And maybe sometimes that's been fitness related. But when I've watched him ride and I've been like unsure how bad he wants it, because I've also like I draw some similarities to myself, of course, because I won when I was young, and it's hard to like maintain that level of that fire. You got to want it more than you want to breathe. Like we've all seen that YouTube video, but it's hard to maintain that. Like once you get into the pros, he's been doing it a long time. And then I think a lot of the work that he did this offseason, like he came in with a noticeably different body type. It looked like he was really going after his weaknesses. This is like the first year where I was like, okay, this kid wants it. Like he really wants it. And maybe that's even disrespectful to say because maybe he has like wanted it so bad the whole time. But I think I love the spot. Yeah, I love the spot that he's in right now. He's been showing us some flashes here and there. And I think if he can just get to a place where he's got enough laps under his belt, he's got enough weeks under his belt, enough base fitness to be strong at the end of the race, I think he's got great sprint pace. And I think right now we're still not seeing all of it because when you've been hurt a bunch and you're still trying to build up, it's not like you're going out on the track and going wide open. You kind of have to be efficient so you can make it to the end of the race. So I think there's even more there than we've seen so far. So hopefully that didn't come across mean or anything. But I do think Ryder D is a guy that could win races at some point and be a podium guy. I don't know how many like podiums and stuff. Cole, maybe you could pull that up. How many podiums does Ryder D have?
I don't know if he has any. I don't think he has any.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember it either.
Not overall. Like I think didn't he do really well at the SMX race a couple years ago? Maybe third in one of the races or something. But I know for sure he's never podiumed a Supercross.
Yeah, Charlotte, I think. No podium.
So yeah, I don't think he's gotten a podium. But I think I just like what I'm seeing from him. Running up front, getting good starts, having some good speed, and I love what you said as well, AC. Where once he gets in the lead, it's not going to feel foreign to him.
No,
it's going to be It's going to feel more normal to him than it does running around in 8th place. So once he gets a taste of that, once he gets to that level where he truly believes in himself and he gets there, I think it's going to happen a lot.
And we're kind of starting to get to that point too. We've talked about it with the 450 class. It's starting to be some turnover. Like the Tomacs, the Barshas, the Andersons, they're going to be gone. And it's going to be this new crop of guys. So there's going to be this opportunity there's going to be an opportunity there for young guys like Ryder to really make a name for themselves, put themselves in the hat to get a 450 factory ride. And so many of these guys, even if you don't see them on TV a lot, they're not on the podium all the time. It requires so many things to go right to be a guy that's contending, that's up there a lot. And there are guys like Ryder that have so many of those things that they need to be very successful. And it's a timing thing. It just hasn't all came together yet for them. I look at Jalik Swoll, perfect example. Guys like that, those are the guys that are going to bring in this new age when, like I talked about, when the Tomacs, the Barshas, when those guys are gone and there needs to be this young crew, So a lot of opportunity there, JB.
Yeah, I remember Ryder started working with Davey Millsaps in the off season, so
Yep.
was riding with Bomer a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that happens again because
Yeah.
I think Julian and Ryder D all off season together, pushing each other, two of the fastest guys in Supercross. That level could rise, and yeah, I don't know. I think it could be a special year for Ryder D. It could be a breakout year, and the timing could be just right. As you said, guys moving out of the class. RJ's gone. Tom Vial's gone. Hayden's going to be gone next summer, and be a good time for him to get up there and get some podiums.
Speaking of good times, what are you doing the next couple weeks?
Next couple weeks. Actually, I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm going to Maine to shoot some photos and videos for some new Honda motorcycles.
I see you. Maine. I've never been there. I've been to almost
never been
every
there either.
single state, not Maine.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've never been either, so I'm looking forward to it. Probably going to ride some trails, ride some woods, and yeah, it's going to be fun.
I like that. Are you getting started? I saw some beach photos. Yep. I feel like the fitness is starting to come around. We look leaner.
We got about 10 to go.
Okay.
About 10 to go.
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Fine with that.
Yeah.
I
need to start getting after it.
Dude, I've been going to the gym 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Come on, I need some pics of this, dude.
I'm back, dude. I'm so back. So
don't tell me you're just doing the elliptical or something. I did 30 minutes on the elliptical.
I go in there and I'd sit on the recliner bike, dude, for like 20 minutes to warm it up, straight up. And then I go and do my little routine that I have for myself. Here, my thing is, so I have like shoulder reconstructions, and I have massive scars like in the middle of my shoulders. And you guys, if you guys got some time right now, go watch me ride in 2020 and then watch me ride in 2023. You see the posture changes a lot because I have all this scar tissue in the front of my shoulders constantly. It didn't help that I was a bit taller, but it just kept, and I hate still. I see pictures of me all slouched over and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can't let this happen anymore. So right now what I'm doing in the gym is basically all posture related. Like I'm over it. I'm over having bad posture. I'm not going to be that guy when I'm 60 years old. Hopefully I make it that long, where I'm just hunched over on the golf course or something. I'm not going to do it. So we've been hitting the pull-ups, some face pulls. You're going to be getting the core activated a little bit. Some leg stuff here and there when I'm feeling it. But yeah, I'm back. I'm basically back.
I like it.
Yeah, I might come back for the playoffs. Wild card.
Easy, a wild card, exactly.
Just get my tail kicked in. Yeah, JB, that's a great show, man. Sorry, I felt like I felt off today. For those of you that are watching this, it took us like I had to do the intro 3 times? Yeah.
I think it was because off camera we started talking about your second swing coach you're on. We started talking about that swing and got you all out of sorts.
Dude, I love that Chase was blowing me out too, dude.
I can't wait to see this swing. Would you say 2017 or something?
It is.
You were golfing with
horrendous. I'll send it as soon as we hang up here. I'll send it in the group chat. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe Cole can put it in the video, but if not, I wouldn't be mad either. It's fine. JB, pleasure as always, my friend. Thanks for
great show. Great show.
Yeah, thanks for carrying the show, dude. You're awesome.
Awesome to have Chase on as well. Appreciate everyone lining that up and Chase for the time. And see y'all next week. Yeah, just our listeners in general, man. We appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around. Like and subscribe or whatever the kids say. Thanks, guys. Love it. See ya.